Oh, hello. I'm Mike, and I was looking at a wrong screen. Welcome to Nightcap with Mike. Just here with my vodka and shochu. My son, who's going to be loud and obnoxious in the background while he plays video games, I'm fairly certain, even though I told him not to. And my pistachios. So it's Amy. Hello, Amy Lester. How you doing? You want a link? I can send. You know what? I'm just going to be. I'm going to be lazy and completely unprofessional and just put the link in the chat. Or anybody who wants to pop in and say how did do. My wife is out with her friend, and Micah is asleep already. And my oldest is in Yosemite. Eden is so he's on his bachelor trip. It's not a party. We don't do that. But he's on a bachelor trip up in Yosemite with some friends. And my daughter, who is also in the wedding, is at the bachelorette, whatever they're doing up in Julian. So that's what's going on. The house is relatively empty. This is new. Actually, my oldest doesn't live here anymore. He's preparing to get married, and so he has got his own place, and his then wife will move in because we're good Christian kids and we don't do that sort of thing. They will move in together after they get married. So what happened to my fingers? Well, about 5 or 6 weeks ago, that kid over there hit my finger with a stick, and it hurt this whole time, and I never really recognized that it was broken until I noticed it's been like 5 or 6 weeks. It still freaking hurts, and it's swollen. So I was like, that sounds broken. So I went ahead and taped them together. And since I've taped them together, I know I should just go get my wife's like, why don't you get a splint? So that way you could use your other finger, like to draw and stuff. And I'm like, that makes sense. But I know I have one around here somewhere, because once upon a time I cut my fingertip off here and I got a splint for this finger, but I have no idea where it is. But suffice it to say, taping the fingers together, it's kept it from hurting. And actually, like when I showered and the band-aids came off, oh my gosh, it hurt again. Like doing anything, bumping it, blah, blah, blah. But taping it together, it's like really kept it from hurting. However, it limits my ability to draw. And I'm working on this NFT project right now. And I'm just having to do these like real kind of sketchy lines rather than doing, you guys know my real tight artistic stuff that I tend to do, but whatever. It's got to heal eventually, right? Mike's kid's trying to take him out one finger at a time. Yeah, the link, if you want to come in, just scroll up the chat a little bit. It's up there. And you can come in and keep me company. And that's kind of, I'll be honest, because of my fingers or my finger. If it wasn't for my finger, I'd be like head down, just drawing, listening to some other podcast or whatever. Because I'm so jazzed about this NFT collection that I just want to work on it. But this is really dragging me down. I hate to say it, but it's true. Mark Anthony says, hope it heals up soon. Thank you. Amy says, you need to be easier on your fingers. I can't. And no, I'm not fragile. I let it hurt for over a month before I decided I should let this heal. Just draw with your feet, says Mark Anthony. I would have 400 people in here watching if I just drew with my feet. I'd have to reset up all my cameras and everything to do it, but did you deserve to get hit with a stick? So we're playing broom ball, which, if you're unfamiliar, basically you go out on a hockey rink, an ice hockey rink with no skates, just your shoes, and you get these sticks with like these little rubber paddles at the end, and they're supposed to be like, I guess this originated with brooms or something, and you just like you try to knock balls from one side to the other. It's like hockey, but with these little paddles and no skates. And so I was being the goalie, and one of the pastors was like, Mike's like a wall, because everybody kept trying to get shots past me, and they couldn't get shots past me, but they were like crunching up on me. So like I think Elijah or Isaac like swung to get a ball, and he was on the other team and just smashed my knuckle. And that was unpleasant. So welcome, Amy and Melissa.
Well, hopefully the microphone's working. I don't have audio.
It's working just fine.
Let's see here.
No immediate denial, by the way. For
okay.
what? What am I?
Mm-hmm.
You want me to draw off my feet? Is that what you're saying? Somebody tell Mike he's in his 50s now. He needs to stick to pickleball.
There we go.
Okay, Amy and Melissa can't hear me. Now they're listening to the YouTube. So in about 10 seconds, they'll hear me say that and be like, oh, wait, that's not right.
This just keeps getting better and better. How's that? Sorry.
No worries.
Here. No, wait. No.
If you're here, please do subscribe, like, and share. If you're new, let's see if who's watching on what channel. 2 people on Unapologetic American, 5 on Blacklist Universe. It is, it's pretty chill. Scotty Richards Studio says, aren't NFTs the pogs of digital currency? An NFT, okay, let me explain this to you. An NFT is like a blank sheet of paper. It's simply a non-fungible token, which means that it's, I'm not going to pull that. That's got my address on it.
No, not that one.
This piece of paper, right?
Okay.
Now, this is technically a fungible piece of paper, although in reality, you know, it's like it is a unique piece of paper. However, because they printed off probably millions and millions of copies of this tract, one is just like the other. So all of these pieces of paper are the same. Now, however, if I take a piece of paper,
that doesn't have an address on it.
yeah, let me find one that doesn't have an address on it.
Preferably.
If I take a piece of paper and I draw a piece of art on it like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
This becomes unique, i.e. non-fungible. Fungible means one is just like the other. So that's what fungible means. And that's why NFTs, they become like a blank piece of paper. And so as a blank piece of paper, what can I write on a blank piece of paper? I can write a receipt, right? I can write the deed to my house. I can write the pink slip to my car. I can write a contract between 2 people. I can literally do anything on a piece of paper. And when that is registered onto the blockchain, it becomes a permanent record of whatever it is you want, minted as an NFT. So NFTs aren't just the JPEGs and all of that stuff. Now, just like paper, you can put JPEGs on paper, or not JPEGs, but, well, I mean, technically you can, because you can just print them.
That's true.
You can put art, you can put drawings, you can put squiggly lines, you can put whatever you want on a piece of paper. Same thing with JPEGs. And some people find those to be enough value that they'll pay money for it. Now, sorry if this is a little inside baseball or little primer on what NFTs are. I know I've done this several times on my channel, but like I was saying, an NFT can be a contract. So thereby, an NFT can have the utility of the contract of however you want it to be, right? Scotty says, but they are becoming more popular or less popular is what I meant to ask. Oh, they're Trust me, NFTs are coming back. They're already back. Some of them are very popular. There's one called Pudgy Penguins that launched during the bear market, and they are intellectual property related. They have little animated cartoons. They have toys. They were selling them at Comic-Con last year, like little plushy penguins. They were pudgy penguins. And so this NFT collection, because of its integrated utility in the real world, I mean, they've sold over $600 million on the market pretty much since spring, I think.
I wonder if you could have an NFT that would be associated with a little plush penguin. So, like, if you made a little plush penguin and you sold it, you could say, here, you can download the NFT to go with it.
Correct.
That could be interesting.
Yeah,
and I know
you can have the specific traits minted onto that NFT. All right, TJ, I'm gonna bring you in here. No swearing on my channel, young man. All right.
King Bob. Hi, Zach.
TJ.
Not recently.
First of all, Happy New Year, and I
Happy
can
New
definitely
Year.
respect that.
Happy New Year.
Amen.
Definitely respect the problem. No problem.
Amen.
Hi, Jeff.
So
Hey,
that's kind of the primer on NFTs and why they
I wanted to ask you before you change the topic. You small NFTs, like the whole thing with NFTs. I understand Bitcoin and unregulated, whole fact of unregulated currency, and but with NFTs, it's not tangible though. It's digital.
right.
So I'm curious to how you think it'll last. Like it's pixels. If you break it down to its fundamental value, it's only pixels. So it's not tangible.
It's a contract.
How so?
See, you're still thinking of NFTs as the only thing an NFT is the picture, right? I think maybe you came in late for my explanation.
I did.
An NFT is a blank piece of paper. Okay. So I can write a contract on a blank piece of paper. I can write a receipt. I can write the deed to a house. I can write the ownership to a car. I can write a contract between two people. I can write whatever I want on a piece of paper, right? But it's that can be that quote unquote contract. When you mint that contract onto the blockchain, it becomes a permanent record.
Well, I've signed contracts like e-sign contracts. Like say you're renewing your car insurance or whatever, you just e-sign it over the phone, stuff like that. I understand that, but how are you relating that to art?
Well, that's what I'm saying. The art aspect of NFTs is as ephemeral as the art aspect of
Pretty much anything.
But I could just take a screenshot of it, and I got the same.
Oh,
art.
look, you could take a screenshot of this. You could go make a photocopy of this.
Right, but the originality is going. It's like you're throwing the originality out the window. Like it's not tangible. The whole point is it's not tangible. Like if I went and got a picture, like
TJ,
yes,
do you ever buy music?
yes.
How much of it do you buy digitally?
Recently, I haven't bought music in a long time, but I used to have a very strong CD tape record collection. But since things went digital, but look, listen, I was one of the first people to find out about Spotify, and I was like, "Holy crap! You got the entire library of music in your pocket in your phone." I thought it was amazing.
And
I didn't know.
Buy nothing ever again, right?
Yeah, right. $10 a month. $10 a month. You mean tell me for $10 a month I got everything? Especially when I was making beats. I mean, I could sample, like I got everything. So I was all for it in the initial shoot, 10 years of it. But then I came to realize that it ruined music. Streaming has ruined music.
How so?
Well, I'm not an artist, but if I was an artist, one, you don't even know how you're getting paid. They could tell you whatever. You know what I'm saying? You don't really know. They say, well, you get 0.00.3% of a stream for every song. You don't know.
You know who Tom
Well,
McDonald is?
well, before you
Wait,
had
hold on,
hard
TJ.
sell.
You know who Tom McDonald is?
Yeah, I know he is. Yeah,
That dude's getting fat rich from
yeah.
doing everything digitally and then selling his own CDs and doing everything on his own, because it's not the outlet that's screwing people, it's the freaking music companies that are screwing people.
In theory,
I
would
seen
it be?
it.
Oh, sorry.
I seen an interview. Snoop. I'm sorry, Miss Lady. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just wondering. Again, from what I do understand about this, an NFT, again, it's something that it's like a file that can be passed over the blockchain. And in theory, you should be able to watch it and see to trace its path.
Mhm.
So I'm again, all
But
theory
it's not.
works.
But it's not tangible though.
Neither
can't
is
help-
any of the dollars in your bank account,
But
bro.
if it were, let's say, a piece of music, and you wrote a piece of music, and I'm not saying this is a use case statement that's yet, but hypothetically, and you decided I'm going to sell this piece of music, and every time it gets passed around, you get, let's say, 5 cents.
Royalty.
So
Yeah.
people get the NFT, they download the music, and the NFT keeps getting passed around. In theory, you would be able to look at a paper trail and see how many times that's been passed around. So
Well, that's
if
not
somebody-
theoretical. That's the whole point of the blockchain. You have
But
it's called provenance, when you have the source of a thing and then you can track where it's gone.
it
like,
sounds like. But it sounds like you trust them to not jerk you.
Oh, but that's just it. If it's yours, you can it's not a them. You can actually look at it and trace it yourself. So if they say, "Oh, only 5 people have listened to your NFT music," just again, my terminology might not be correct. You could look at the NFT itself and say, "No, 25,000 people have listened to my NFT music."
Yeah, hold
And
on, hold
they
on a second.
can't
I've got I've
Hold
got
that
white
over you.
TJ coming up. Remember, no swearing, young man.
I haven't said one bad word. And can you
No,
not?
not at
I'm gonna ask you a favor, Mike.
Yeah.
I want to be looked at as TJ and not Black TJ. Is that okay with you?
Fair enough. No, you're just
It's
TJ.
2024.
You're
I
just
just want to be
TJ.
TJ.
This one down here
I-
has the qualifier, bro.
All right. I just don't want to be Black TJ. I just want to be TJ.
Straight up.
You're TJ. Hi, TJ. Hi, TJ.
Hello, white TJ.
No,
The
TJ the
second.
second.
Wait a second. TJ Junior.
Well, those are some cool paintings on the wall. Do you do those or?
My wife did that one, and those are from, or that's from some kid in a small convention in Atlanta.
Oh, that's
Oh, nice.
all right. Sorry. Back to your question, TJ. What was it?
Sorry.
I lost my train of thought, man. What up, J
Oh,
Dog?
I'm sorry. I derailed
I
it.
know your voice. I ain't gotta look at the phone. I know your voice. What up? What up, man?
What's up, man?
Happy New Year, man. Happy New Year, bro.
Same to you.
Yeah,
Thank you
man.
for correcting yourself, Jiminy Cricket. Half Oriental Mike. Correct.
I don't want to be. I don't want to be. I just want to be me. I don't want to be the color skin TJ or ethnicity TJ. Why can't I just be TJ, man? I don't want to
Your
go
name
there.
says right there, TJ.
TJ.
You are
No,
TJ.
no one but you has made an issue of it yet.
Well, when you said earlier, like, okay, well, we got the white TJ coming on, that you're absolutely saying, well, I'm the, it's by default what you're saying. It's just, I don't say I'm talking to Asian Mike
I'm gonna do
Oriental.
that. Oriental Mike.
Oriental Mike.
or Oriental Mike, or I don't say I'm talking to white Jay or this lady, right? Y'all just who you are, man. Just stop categorizing me by the color of my skin. That's 2024. I'm asking y'all to stop categorizing me by the color of my skin. I'm just
Okay.
like you.
J Dalla, TJ did not appreciate your joke.
I see that.
So apologize to TJ so we can move on.
I don't want no apology. I don't want no forced apology. We cool. I ain't like that. I'm just saying, like, just cut it out, man.
I don't know. I'm just like racial call out by nature. You always bring up like that Mike's Oriental. We always talk about Korean, Quaif.
Can I ask you a question? Why? Why is racial?
Because it's
Why
funny.
is it's not funny?
It is if you don't care about it.
Well, I think by like the culture, you know, like the streams we do and the things
Well,
we
how about
say.
this?
Okay.
It's funny to y'all because I'm on the bottom of the totem pole. So it's
No,
funny
you're
to y'all.
not.
No one
No,
sees
no,
that.
Are you okay?
Well, it's not funny. It's not. I'm sick and tired of it, and I don't want to sound aggressive and mean, but I'm tired of it, man. I just want to be me. I don't want to be black me. I just want to be me.
Bro, it never
Look,
even crossed my mind that you were black.
I got a better one. Creole people or Cajun. These are all Americans. Without Louisiana, my sister live in Louisiana. Nobody, they might talk with a different dialect or a different, whatever. Nobody like they're lesser value because of their dialect or the way they talk or the way they speak or how they interpret things. With me, it's like, yo, I'm not trying to play a victim. I'm just saying I'm tired of it. I'm asking for it to stop. That's all I'm saying, man. Please.
There is
It's God
there-
no.
TJ, there is no white or black or man or woman, Jew nor Greek in my house. Well, he's a Jew.
I ain't talking about your career. I'm talking about online, bro.
I'm talking about equality, dude. I don't freaking care about race. That's why I think it's funny.
No, listen. Real life, everybody has two different personalities. They have the one when they walk out their front door, and that's reality. Then you have online. And online seems to be where men can be their worst versions of their self. And I'm catching the bad end of the stick. And I'm just saying, can y'all stop it?
You're not catching it here.
I don't think
brother.
anyone on this panel
No.
has
All right.
conversations about you like that.
All right, fair enough. All right, I'll leave it alone. I said my piece.
But for
I
me
see.
personally, like I read cultural books, like the birth of militarism, the birth of governmental trials and things like that. So my whole life is like reading about
I've noticed that
racial stereotypes, racial personalities, ethnic differentiation, socioeconomic.
I remember I was sitting at work with you. I was sitting at work and we was talking, and it was like Tibet. It was going on about Tibet and China, and he was like really passionate, and he had a whole lot of knowledge of what was going on over in Asia. And we kind of went
I
back
got a
and
new
forth.
book.
Okay,
I got a new
all right.
book,
All right.
The Bow and the Club.
What's that about?
Julius Evola. Socioeconomic changes, cultural, it takes like when you start migration in certain countries, you're initiating new ideas in the cultures. And this gets into like the real nitty gritty. Like if you buy this guy's books, you're on like the FBI watch list.
There's a certain truth to assimilation. I believe in assimilation. Like, if you want to come to the U.S., you should assimilate to the U.S.
Legitimately, dude. My mother has been here for 55 years. Dang, dude, she still has a terrible accent. She's like, people call it.
I ain't talking about that. No, that's not what I'm talking about.
It irritates me.
Okay.
It's like, freaking stop watching Japanese TV and watch.
Right. There's a certain point where I feel like, of course, you want to keep your culture and where you came from. There's a thin line to draw where also you need to assimilate. If you come here, you need to assimilate. But I see what I was trying to say is I seen a video where this couple went to France. They went to Paris. And they was walking to the Eiffel Tower, and bro, it it was just a whole bunch of colored people of color, different variations, Indian, African, maybe American or whatever. And I understood what they were saying. Like, yo, is niggas taking over everything?
He was in a tourist spot.
Yeah, but it was like everybody. Like, it was like everybody. It was like there was no.
It's like if you're a New Yorker, you never go to Times Square.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're a New Yorker, you hate Times Square. But if you come to New York from anywhere else, you go to Times Square. That's the Eiffel Tower right there.
But then I could also say, the whole word of gentrification. They could say that, Brooklyn, they pretty much, and I'm not mad about gentrification. I mean, if you're going to run down the property and somebody want to come in and make the property better, which is gentrification, what they're trying to say, because I know I've seen it on the scale here. I don't get mad at that. You know what I'm saying? Why waste this land? And you don't want to take care of this land, and I'm gonna sit here and build condos and modernize.
Yeah, not just that. It raises the value of your property.
The property.
Where you can actually make out like a bandit. If you want to continue to live there, you live in a better neighborhood. If you want to go live in a worse neighborhood, you can make a grip of money selling your joint and then go. Right.
So I'm very like tiptoeing on the line of I understand
people saying, how it goes, man. It goes everywhere. Don't worry about
it. Actually, it's called progress.
Yeah.
If you want to break it down in its purest form, it's called progress.
What's progress?
Gentrification.
Gentrification is called progress.
In its purest form. In its purest form,
it's a capitalistic tool. It's a means to, like you can create like enclaves of neighborhoods and properties that you can just scoop up.
Well, I'm gonna do you one better. Perfect example, real talk. I used to go fishing out in the projects. There's these projects out in Newport News. Projects. They're sitting on waterfront property. Like literally. Drive out in the middle of the night and go in somebody's backyard and go fishing out in the ocean, the Atlantic. You know what I'm saying? Dan Marino, I heard Dan Marino was buying this years ago. Dan Marino and Donald Trump, and years ago.
There's a button on my mouse, and if I click it, it makes me leave the room.
They was buying up the property. They was buying it because it's waterfront property. Now these properties, it's waterfront property. Prime real estate. But what's sitting on this real estate was the projects. Crime. Crime written. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not gonna lie about it. You know what I'm saying? I just won't scared to go out there because I get it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I do understand them saying like this is prime waterfront property. Mm-hmm. Maybe we need to tear down these projects and build, progress.
Yeah, like Gaza.
Where did the poor go?
I don't think that's a good comparison, but
hey, Gaza's like San Diego, dude.
A lot of the areas destroyed in Gaza were actually quite.
I don't know about the Gaza thing. You kind of got me on that one.
The Gaza thing is like the concrete mafia, the rebar mafia, the telecommunications mafia. They're all going to come in there and get new contracts and rebuild all that stuff. They did it in Serbia. They're doing it in Ukraine. They did it after World War I and World War II. Like the destructions of, and if you gotta remember, like Gaza, what is it? Less than 100 square miles, 50 square miles. So it's like
that's like the size of New Jersey or something.
It's the size of a city in America, and we're acting like it's the most insane thing in the world that can be going on.
Well, no, because it's not just. It's a holy war. It's not. You can't boil it down to that.
That's the response. Here's a chapter in the book.
What's up, boy? can't read it.
You may have to read it. I'm afraid that's a bit dark.
Negrified America.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to read that, bro. If you don't mind.
Go ahead,
What,
read it.
the chapter?
A reading.
Yeah,
a reading.
yeah. Read it. Make your point. Make your case. I can't see it.
So this chapter, a summation of the chapter, is how Jews and other powerful houses used black music to inculcate white people into different socioeconomic norms that they normally wouldn't have ever done otherwise, unless it wasn't for like
read it. Enough with the disclaimer, because the disclaimer is awful. Just go ahead and read it.
Not long ago, the newspapers announced that according to some of the calculations, half the populations of Manhattan will be black by the 1970s, and in the 5 boroughs that make up the entire city of New York, 28% of the inhabitants will be of the colored race. Developments in the same directions have been registered in other cities and areas of the United States. We are witnessing a nigrification, the mongrelization, and the decline of the white race in the face of a faster breeding inferior races. Remember, this book was written in the 60s by...
Yeah, I was going to say, was that written by Margaret Sanger or what?
No, this book was written...
I'm sorry, I cussed, Mike. It made me slap by that. I said, what the F what are you reading?
I told you this book gets you put on the FBI list. Yeah. So Julius Evola lived in the 60s.
Why are you reading that?
Because I like to know.
Okay, read it again. No, read it again. Read it again. I want you to read it again and read it out loud. Read it again.
That like legit sounds like Margaret Sanger.
Yeah,
well, it's on the same level. They were trained by the same people, I think.
Yeah.
Read it again. Read it again.
I feel like I might not have a lot to add to this conversation. Should I excuse myself?
It's up to you, Amy.
No.
If you want to pop in later when we're
No. Stay here for the uncomfortableness.
Yeah, why do you think I'm reading this chapter, I guess?
Yes. Stay here for the uncomfortable. Don't run. Stay here for the uncomfortableness. It makes you a better person.
Most comfortable, girl.
I'll go ahead and step out for a bit. But I don't know if you want to read some of the Bible or something like that.
I have the Bible and everything. I have a great book to read of the Bible.
King James. No,
read that again. What are you reading, Jay? Read that. You're actually reading this?
Read that again. Read that. The Body and Society, Men and Women, and the Sexual Renunciation in Early Christianity. This is a very, very good book.
That's interesting. Bye, Amy.
Bye. You all have a great night.
I'll be right back.
I want to do a crafting circle sometime. That'll be awesome.
Night. Do you follow Thomas Sowell? I absolutely adore Thomas Sowell. He's one of my favorite people on planet Earth. Do you, TJ?
I don't follow him, but I'm very well. I know about his teachings, or his philosophy. I'm fully, and I agree with it. I agree with him 100%.
Here's another good book, The Sage of Science by Andrew Brown.
Did you get all those at the library? Why are they all wrapped in plastic?
I'm trying to figure out what is he reading? You realize you're putting that in your head, right?
No, so that's
it's all right to understand how other people think.
Yeah, so this was a guy who wrote in the 60s, and it's views that he saw, and he was trained by high-ranking Jesuit royals, Masonic bankers, or not Masonic bankers, but Templar bankers and things like that. So he grew up around, and he influenced a lot of the Swissy, the Germans, a lot of the Polish people, the ideas and the expansionism.
Okay, let me ask you a question. With all of this knowledge that you're taking in from diverse places, you're just trying to see what other people think, and you're adding it all up to come up with your own.
Yeah, this book is insane.
Right. You're taking all this information in to form your own opinion, right? You're getting everybody else's views to form your own opinion. What's your opinion?
About what?
Everything you read, you got to formulate. You got to have your own mind frame. What do you think after taking in all this knowledge from different sources? What do you think?
About what though? Like, what are you asking me? What do I think?
I mean, well,
yeah, be specific. That's a very
okay. The course of society, where society is headed.
Society?
Yeah, where society is headed.
I'll tell you what.
Influence.
I'll tell you something that's probably a statistical.
Hold on, Mike. I want to hear what he got to say.
Yeah, but I'm just going to say that blacks would be 20% of the population right now if it wasn't for Margaret Sanger.
So
it's legit, dude. They would be 1/5 of the freaking population.
So we are in a geopolitical era where powerhouses used unfettered immigration to help change laws in countries and set up new angles of robbing countries of their
resources,
currency, and their resources and everything. So like, usually, so after the last time, one of the last big times this happened was when all the Swissies and the Austria-Hungary leftovers and the Germans, when they teamed up with the Brussels and the London people, and they got rid of the French monarchy and turned it into a republic. This was the last time we've experienced something so inundating. And so after that, as one example of many times they've done this, the whole institution of France completely changed. So there, even though you still had,
you believe that America is fundamentally on the brink of changing from what?
No, I don't. No. So after those processes happened in previous times, there's always new institutions of power that are placed into those positions. So we are at one of those areas in America.
It's about to shift. It's about to be a shift. It's going to be a shift.
No, so in America, we have to witness places like China, Taiwan.
You're doing a lot of dancing. Do you think America is on the verge of a shift?
No. You're not letting me finish what I'm trying to say. So
like, you're doing a lot of dancing.
So we're at another point.
Dude, that's how Jay Dollar talks. If you freaking know this.
We gotta have some context behind it. Like, so this is the way.
Just give him a minute.
So what you're going to see happen is Ukraine's going to be a different shape. Poland's going to be a different shape. Hungary's going to be a different shape. And then you're going to see, like.
You're going to see Bitcoin pop off when it reaches this freaking.
Yeah, you're going to see.
Yeah, I mean,
there. Look at that.
Nothing's never stayed the same. Nothing throughout the history of time. Nothing has ever stayed the same. Everything is constantly changing. That's just time. Things are constantly evolving, digressing, progressing, whatever.
Yeah,
so I'm asking you, where do you see America being headed?
I don't know. I'm not black-pilled or pessimistic on the future of America. I think we're just having to bear witness and have to deal with the propaganda
of what
that dissuades Americans from
and where do you see it going? Come on, man, you like really dancing. Well, just say the shit. Excuse me, I didn't mean to cuss. I apologize.
I don't know where we're going.
Hold on, TJ, where do you think Jay is going?
I think he don't want to say. I don't want to put words in his mouth.
This is speculation. What do you speculate that Jay's trying?
Maybe I can see where you're going.
I think Jay is trying to say that America is going to. We're heading down a road, which as a matter of fact, I agree with him. Where the minority and the majority is going to shift, and maybe capitalism and socialism is going to shift.
God, I hope not.
And he's saying that I see this happening, and I don't think this is good for the country. I agree with him. I just want to hear him say it.
I don't think anything bad is going to happen in America, personally.
Oh, I think that's wrong. But here's the thing. We're in a place right now where they're like 3 years into a socialist administration. And I remember this feeling because we had this feeling when Obama was in power.
But that's just propaganda, right? Just to let you know.
It's not propaganda. It's where they want to run and they have the reins and they're doing stuff that freaking sucks for the future of America. But then Trump gets elected and it's like morning in America again. It's like when Reagan was elected in the 80s. It was like it's a total paradigm shift. It's an attitude shift. People start putting money into markets, putting money into businesses, putting, the economy gets pumping again. All of that stuff is all it's all psychological. Before Trump got into office, before Trump could do one thing as president, the stock market shot up because Trump got elected. That was purely psychological. They knew what was coming under a guy who's a businessman and wants business to succeed in America versus Obama versus Biden versus whoever, whatever. They don't want business to succeed.
I had a girlfriend that was completely Democrat, like nothing Republican about her. She was a Christian, but completely Democrat. She just the healthcare system alone. When Trump got in office, and I remember going around the crib and she was like, she didn't vote for him or any of that. And she was like, I'm saving so much money. It was weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, she was like, the economy was booming. She was like, I'm saving so much money on, because Obamacare, what people don't realize, Obamacare was hurting people that had health insurance. My health insurance comes from a union, so I didn't get affected by it. But people that have to pay into the health insurance, they was getting, the Obamacare thing was killing them. It was killing them. And she was saying just by that alone, she's seen a difference in her pockets.
Yeah.
In her pockets.
It was crazy because you'd had to be blind to not see that was just a big freaking, behind the back handshake between the Democrats and the insurance industry. Just like COVID was a handshake between the Democrats and the freaking pharma.
May I present my...
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm
going to mute because my son's being loud in the back.
There are predetermined scenarios that happen throughout the globe. And there is nothing any country or power can do to change some of these predetermined negotiated scenarios that are going to happen and transitions are going to take place. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm referencing the ideas that you were just postulating, but there are scenarios that are going to happen. So it would not be in Donald Trump's interest, and from how he is politically astute, for him to be president while Russia is taking back land that was taken from them after World War I and World War II partition.
Can I ask you something?
So these things are going to have to happen, and you're going to have, sometimes America is going to have weak presidents in these positions. So
with this foresight, with the foresight, because your attitude is the way you talk and the way you handle yourself is like foresight. You're like, okay, this is what's going to happen. You don't deal in now. You're talking about foresight. I see what's going to happen. I'm going to say this to you. I would say, okay, well, if you're seeing the foresight of what you're saying, I would even go further and go behind and say, well, all this was already written anyway.
Yeah,
it's because it seems like you're saying it's doomed to fail. No matter how you look at it, it's doomed to fail. I'm reading all of these books. I'm getting all of this knowledge. History repeats itself. It's doing. Hold on.
I'm not black pill.
It's doing the fail. I'm telling you that if that's your attitude, I would even go better and say the Bible already said this is going to happen anyway.
Well, the Bible is a very strategically written book. Like the whole
Well, the Bible doesn't say when
been
it's
edited over time, and it's designed to help answer questions and guide you in times of need. So, like I said earlier in the conversation, these geopolitical things that they're doing, they have been doing since before the Bible was contemplated. So, like,
do you think we're on the verge of another world war?
In the time of, remember, like in the early days, even
do you think we're on the verge of another world war? Armageddon.
Hold up. I don't think there was geopolitics in 3500 BC.
Yeah, there was. So let me give you an example.
All right.
So in the times of in areas around the Mesopotamia, especially on the eastern side, when the areas of the early Canaan going into the Canaan areas were having difficulties with their shit getting stolen all the time, and they had their stuff getting stolen all the time, and they had to resort to asking Asia Minor, which is now Turkey, and areas like that, and the Hittites around, like, so.
You're talking about conquering.
Well, no. What I'm saying is these areas, they would send masses of people to the outside of the border walls of these heavily trade routed areas.
Yeah,
they would harass, and they would steal, and they would.
That's called strategy.
They would
called strategy. Nothing is new under the sun. I'm asking you again.
Exactly. So they're doing that now.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's local politics. That's not geopolitics.
At the time, it is geopolitics. At the time, it was geopolitics. Yeah,
these are trade hubs.
This is the known world. It was a known world at the time.
Remember, from the Fertile Crescent back in the day, like if you were to calculate the amount of money, because remember, the Silk Road connected to them.
Yep.
The amber trade routes from Scandinavia connected to them. The roads from Rome.
The Silk Road wasn't until like what? 1,000.
No, that trade route. This trade route was alive and well. But
3,500 BC, it wasn't.
You're talking about the known world, the recorded known world, and the unrecorded known world. You're talking about history.
No, I'm talking about these are standard trade wars that happen at the time. There's nothing.
Geopolitics is just a smaller. It's just ain't the entire world, because the entire world ain't been mapped yet. But it's still geopolitics.
So to me, when I say geopolitics,
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you.
The Altai Mountains, making your way through the steppe, going past the Crimea and the Black Sea, and you've made it past the Caspian Sea, and you're hitting areas to like Italy and strongholds like Hallstatt, and which had
200 BC
trade.
FYI, 200 BC is when Silk Road was first used.
Okay, the trade route still exists. They still
exist. I mean, that's what I'm saying. The trade route that they first.
Yeah. So those trade routes.
You're talking about recorded history,
Europeans
right?
Naming it the Silk Road, because it wasn't called that back then. This goes all the way back.
Oh no, they didn't call it the Silk Road until like 1800.
But it's still still geopolitics. It's just on a smaller scale.
It's geopolitics.
All right, it's just on a smaller scale. That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't want to get pedantic about it.
Right. Okay. So I'm asking you, Jay. Do you think we're on the verge of another world war / apocalypse?
Nope.
You don't think that's gonna happen right now?
Mm-mm. And the reason why they won't do that is because Brussels and London are broke, and there's no way that they can use America or South America and their influence, because South America actually has a lot of influence, regardless of what some people may think.
Dude, South America is going to be the wealthiest freaking continent.
Well, what I'm saying is there's no way to stop Taiwan from going back. So London, Brussels, the Dutch East India companies, which is today Brussels and London, there's no way they can hold Taiwan. It's going back to China. There's nothing you can fucking do about it. And
watch your mouth.
language.
Oh,
But
sorry.
Hey, I
I'm
just
getting on my
to
rant.
hey, Mike, I said language. Mike, I technically said language. No, have mercy.
Sorry.
just to interject. I really think, particularly if Trump doesn't get reasselected, but I think he will. I mean, I really think he will. But
China has said they're taking Taiwan.
Let me finish the sentence, brother. Even in the case that he gets elected, there's going to be another social. They're not going to pull back. The left is not going to pull back. They're just going to have more and more socialist, communist people running for president over the decade.
No, eventually, China has made it very clear that they're taking Taiwan back.
Okay, that's
not Taiwan. That's Taiwan. Tibet. I meant Tibet. Not even Taiwan. Tibet.
Hold on. Let me finish my point, or I'm going to mute you. So the point is that there's going to this malaise, this depression that people on the right, people who build businesses and see them destroyed by democratic policies, and see all their freaking 50% of their income taken by democratic governments. As South America grows more based, as we see more El Salvadors, more Argentinas, more Brazils, as more of these people start electing conservative, right-wing, libertarian people, you're going to see an exodus of money from America, from North America to South America, like you haven't seen in 100 years, money transferring that way. Argentina 100 years ago was the wealthiest country in the Western Hemisphere. 1920s Argentina was the wealthiest country in the Western Hemisphere until socialism took it over and it destroyed its economy.
Right.
But now you've got Milei, an anarchist, libertarian capitalist running that place. If he maintains power down there, Argentina is going to be like a freaking monster economically.
I have friends. I have friends that buy currency. They go to the mall, MacArthur Center, where they have a money exchange thing where you can go and buy you can take US dollars and buy other currency. And people are placing bets. And it's pretty much like betting. And they're buying like Iraqi dollars, or I don't know what Iraqi dollars called, but Iraqi dollars, whatever, saying that, eventually when it bounced back, this $1 I put in, it'll be $100. So they'll go and put, money in. It's basically like gambling, right? Do you think that these impoverished nations that there's caravan, especially to South America, when you're watching them coming through in caravans of thousands, tens of thousands, you think they're gonna bounce back?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Wait, what do you mean bounce back?
Bounce back from poverty.
Yeah,
those countries down there. Dude, hold on.
Right, may I say something?
Is it going to be about El Salvador?
No. So, even though that's a good example, so what's going on in the world geopolitically is, if you look at the currencies that the UK, London, and France prints, they print for multiple nations in the 10s and 20s. So between those two countries alone, they print all of the money for these nations, and they also get a scalp off the top. So Argentina just who is heavily backed by the Jewish folks in the United States money, is they're asking for the Falkland Islands back. And then you just had this stuff that's been going on in Mali and the other African nations. They've completely kicked out France, not only from the embassy, but they're also going to start printing their own money. So, and then you're going to lose. You lost Crimea, which is a giant trade hub. You lost the Donetsk and the Luhansk regions, which has over 500 metric tons of gold, which has almost as much salt as like Hallstatt.
What's the joint? I don't mean to interrupt you. What's the joint with the BRIC where it's like China, Russia, and the Saudis are all coming together?
They're leaving. What's going to happen?
To degrade the U.S. dollar. To degrade U.S. What is that?
Yeah, they don't want to be controlled by the greenbacks anymore.
It's European power. It's never really.
It's
when
the
you're in
U.S. dollar,
America,
dude. It's
No,
it's to get away from the
we're a byproduct.
hegemony of
We're a
the
byproduct.
U.S. dollar.
We're a byproduct, and I guarantee you, when those
Dude, this is
when
the same
those-
argument the gold bugs have been
Hold on.
making for freaking decades.
I guarantee you, when those sheiks and Arabs are going through their own line in airports where they don't have to go through metal detectors and they have their suitcases, in those suitcases, there's still U.S. dollars in there. They're not going to put BRICS money in there.
Hold on a second. Hold on, Jay. You seem very optimistic.
Now, what they're
you
gonna
seem-
have is they're gonna have one of these, and it's gonna have Bitcoin on it.
It seems like you double talk because on one hand you're saying this, throughout history you can see where it's doom and gloom.
America's not
But if you see what's going on right now, and the thing I was saying about the BRIC, when you have these powerful nations that are all coming together to basically devalue the U.S. dollar, and do you see what's going? To see what's going on in our economy, the U.S. dollar is, bro.
No, hold
A
on.
Big Mac is a Big Mac is $12 now.
The idea this becomes an economic battle, but the point of them doing that is not to devalue the dollar; it's to get out from under the boot heel of the dollar. As soon as Russia did something that the government didn't like, they started putting sanctions on their ability to transfer U.S. dollars.
A rupee is worth more than a penny. So it's not about the U.S. dollar. It's really not. It has nothing to do with that. So the euro is a new currency that was born out of a fucking bank that was.
Watch your mouth.
Oh, sorry. That was made from King Francis, one of the last Holy Roman emperors, and his royal court Jew made the early bank, which is now the European Union Bank, which is a central bank system, which is controlled by a seven-state system. No, this is higher than the World Economic Forum. These people, the World Economic Forum works for these people, the Basel system. And so like it is in America's interest, it's in the BRICS interest, and it's in Russia's interest for the euro to fail. And so all these things.
But that's not how they're acting, though.
Because America is a propaganda. We have the Smith-Month Modernization Act. So
I don't understand. It seems like you're saying things and then you contradict yourself. You're saying it's in the best interest for Russia, whatever. But I'm telling you, that's not what they're doing. They're doing the opposite of what you're saying.
No, the U.S. dollar the U.S. dollar is fine.
I don't think so, bro. Have you been to the store?
Yeah, but that's a central bank. That's a Fed. It has nothing to do with what by proxy, the Europe is controlling our Fed. Yes, but that's a European problem.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying about BRICS is, dude. The BRICS is kind of to, Brazil, Russia, China, South America, India,
Saudi Arabia.
BRICS is to those guys what Bitcoin is to you and me. It's getting out of the U.S. dollar financial.
Getting out of the European system. The European.
Well, it's all the freaking same, dude. All of the euro. No, it is, dude.
It is not.
Everything is based on the U.S. dollar. The euro is based on the dollar. The freaking everything has been based on the dollar.
Mike is absolutely right.
1971. Yes, it was, because the U.S. dollar was the only one that was gold backed.
Mike is absolutely right.
All the other money on Earth was tied to the U.S. dollar in value because we were supposed to be on the gold standard, and then it was Richard Nixon that screwed everybody in 1971 by taking us off.
Yeah, because he was compromised. Yeah,
right. But that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter if it's the euro or if it's the yuan.
The euro was trying to destroy America.
Everything was based on the dollar.
London and Brussels and Rome do not want America to succeed. That's why you have.
Hold on a second. Can you at least agree? Before you go on, can you agree that up until recently, the world currency was based on the U.S. dollar?
And it still is, and it's not going to go away.
But BRICS isn't.
Exactly.
After us.
That's the whole point.
After Europe.
That's the point of BRICS.
No, they're coming after Europe. We're signing America.
Europe is based. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm getting I'm muting myself.
America. You remember when all those tankers were off all the coast of California and New York and Florida, and they couldn't come into our ports?
Jay, you're talking about
when that was happening.
But you're talking out of both sides of your mouth, because you just said if you're coming out of Saudi Arabia, you got U.S. dollars in your freaking suitcase.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. America will never not be the dominant trade. America money is not going
Then
anywhere.
you're agreeing.
And what I'm saying, you're saying that BRICS is coming after us. I'm saying that Europe is coming after us. We are signing contracts with BRIC nations from South American countries. They are not. America's dollar isn't going to go anywhere. The European euro currency is a very new currency. It's not even 50 years old. And the average life of a currency doesn't even last 100 years on average.
Are you listening to yourself?
America will not have that problem. Russia will not have that problem.
Are you listening to what you're saying?
I feel like the euro's been trying to reach parity ever since it was created, and it's finally
Europe will have that problem. So what needs to happen?
I remember going to Italy before the euro was created, dude. It was crazy.
We destroy the euro, and the UK prints their own money again. France prints their own money again.
UK's been creating.
Germany prints their own money again.
The UK never stopped printing their own money. The UK never got into the euro.
But they still use euro as a main currency in their
No, they didn't. The UK has always been on the top.
What I'm saying is they still use currency. You can go to the UK and use the euro like you can use the
and you know what all those values are based against? The dollar.
Well, that's because the market does it. You can go to other charts and base it off the
Mike, he's acting like he doesn't understand it. He understands it. He's acting like he don't understand it. Why he's saying he understands it? It's weird.
I am speaking plain English.
Okay.
Are you high, Jay?
What does that have to do with anything? What I'm saying, like, there's no ambiguity.
It has nothing to do with anything. What are you talking about?
My point is different than y'all's point. You're saying the BRICS and everything is coming after American money. I am saying BRICS is coming after European money.
And the European money is based on what?
Their goods, their services.
Jesus, don't forgive me. Okay.
Against the dollar.
No, bro, not everything is backed by the United States.
Yes, it is.
Dude, I remember when they spent the good part of 30 years trying to reach parity with the dollar, dude.
It's the main source of trade in nations like Saudi Arabia until now.
He's saying it again. He's saying it again. He just did it again.
We've got a voice from England. Ben says, English guy here, we have a pound here. If you pay with a euro coin, you get a headbutt or a free beer because of being a drunk. Yeah. Good point, Ben.
I'm not arguing against the only point I'm arguing.
Jay Dollar, you just said they're not coming after the American dollar, they're coming after the European dollar. But then you're saying that, the European dollar is based on the American dollar. Well, it's based on the American dollar, but they're not coming. Okay, I don't understand.
You're out of your mind, Mike. Bring up your charts again.
I'm gonna be quiet.
And do German versus Yuan. YUAN.
Yuan with, I don't think I have.
Whatever German money is called. What is it called?
The mark. Oh no, it's euro. Germany is under the euro.
Okay, so they're under the euro. So if you're a trader in China, you're trading under the euro in markets. Most Chinese
Euro USD.
Because one of the main reasons why Chinese don't play in
Japan
small markets in America is you can't short. Only if you're a big dick can you short the market. But in these other nations like the yuan,
I can't find the yuan.
The euro,
I can find the yen.
Yeah, that's fine. Up until I'm gonna keep this real. You get real technical unnecessarily.
No, I don't.
Just hear me out. Up until recently,
you can't keep up with what I'm saying.
will you, because you'll get real unnecessarily technical. Tell me out. Up until recently, would you say the world economy was based on the U.S. dollar?
It's not. It's not.
That's
Sound like
Oh.
possessed.
I just don't feel like we're gonna agree on this, and I don't understand why. I'm just gonna remove that.
No, put up the
But
chart.
okay, let's just call it the West. Okay, the point of BRICS is to get away from the Western powers grab or hold hegemony on the financial system. Right? You agree on that?
The fact that you think that America controls,
Let's just call it the West and just agree. Is that
it's not the
correct
West.
or not?
It's not the West.
You're saying
That-
there's a great war between Europe and the
America does-
United States.
he won't even agree with that. He'll say Europe, even though Europe is the West, but he won't say the West because that's too much like agreeing with you.
It's impossible. There's too much power and money in European
Okay.
nations.
Do the BRICS? Do the BRICS exist?
Okay,
Do the BRICS exist?
What is
no.
the-
We can break.
What is the most powerful monetary unit on Earth?
What is the most powerful?
Just say it, Jay. You know the answer.
Well,
It's the
This is
U.S. greenback. You
This,
know
this,
it.
this,
Don't
this
even
is why I
freaking
can't talk to him
pretend,
because
dude. Come on.
he's a contrarian. I hate contrarians.
Look at his
I'm
smile.
totally-
He knows it. Look at him. Look at him. He's
I totally agree.
Rhaegar makes a great point. It is belief. Belief in the US dollar. That's why you get those people from Saudi Arabia lugging around millions of dollars in cash. That's why you get Barack Obama sending $6 billion in US cash to Iran, right? It's US cash is the freaking 600-pound gorilla in the room when it's economics.
Now, that being said, do you agree, Jay, that BRICS exist and they're trying to undermine, let's say, like Mike said it, the Western control of the monetary influence of the world?
And my answer is I think they're trying to destroy future contracts for Europe. So
Which is Western.
No.
Oh,
Yes, it was literally.
they're gonna sign
it is-
different
it is considered the West.
they're going to sign different contracts with us.
Okay, Jay,
they
is
would
it
be
the
Europe.
Jews?
In most of these decisions, I don't think so. I think that
All right,
they're more
just making
property
sure.
based,
The Jews.
religious based.
All right, so who are the people at the top of the Hydra?
Royals.
Rothschilds.
No, Rothschilds work for royals.
The DuPont. The DuPonts.
The Rothschild
DuPont
family
is-
isn't even like barely 300 years, 270 something years of monetary power. You have other families that are like
The Rockefellers.
you have families that are 800, 1,000 years old.
The
Yeah.
Rockefellers.
The Rothschilds. Rothschilds are that old.
No, they're not. They
Really?
have not had power that long. They're not
Who are
even
you talking?
300
Who are you
years
talking
old.
about then?
Yeah.
The royals,
names.
the royal family.
And-
What royals?
What's their name? Enlighten us.
The Windsors, which used to be a German family, the Brussels line.
Oh yeah, the Windsors got
Luxembourg-
so much freaking money in gold.
the Luxembourg
hidden away.
line, the Greek, what's that royal line? The Greek German line, like with the Constantine and all those guys. The Constantine just died, which is very interesting. So, like, there's
So
Yeah.
so what do we plebs? What are we to do about this? With all this information that you accumulate.
can do nothing.
Okay, so
You can do
no.
something, Jay. You can buy
Predetermined.
Bitcoin.
You're not. We will
You-
not
you
change what the
exit-
royals have planned.
No, but you, as an individual, can do something. Get
Yeah,
out
what-
of
what-
this monetary system. Get into
What do we
Bitcoin.
do? What do we do? What
Get
do we
into
do, Jay?
Bitcoin, TJ. I'm freaking serious.
Yeah,
Take
that's so
all of your fiat,
Merovingians.
put it into Bitcoin. Get the hell out of the fiat system.
I got some crypto. I don't have any Bitcoin though.
All right, so the Merovingians, they go back to like lines going all the way to the Pepinids and the Pepin family and all those dudes.
Yeah, that's cool. I get on that. What I'm saying to you is, with all of this information of history and lineage and where it all started, and you can go all the way back from where it started, and you can take it back to the beginning. What do we do with this information, and how do I take that information and apply it to my life to make my life better?
Become an ultra wealthy individual, and we all become ultra wealthy, and then we can fight them.
Okay, that's a very vague general answer
of the system and buy.
Well, they control the blockchain.
They don't control crypto.
And all that
no,
stuff.
they don't.
Yeah, they do.
No individual can control Bitcoin.
What? No. So a lot of these firms that create these blockchains,
if the banking system,
I'm not talking about all the different ones, and I'm sure there are. I mean, SBF is perfectly, very good evidence that they were manipulating different blockchains.
If the Feds is trash,
I'm talking
about the
about
banking system is trash.
FBI.
If all of it is trash, where do I go? I'm hold on, Mike. If the Feds is trash, the Treasury is trash, the banking system is trash, the world economic. I mean, if all of it, if everybody's in cahoots under these elitists that you're saying, well, I'm not denying it. I'm not denying it. What do I do about it, Jay?
Nothing. There's nothing you can do.
Get out by Bitcoin.
You would have to be like in a government system. Like, so every year, Vladimir Putin does this giant fucking event for all the brightest students in Russia. And they come from the most prestigious, families, royal backgrounds and all that, because royalty still exists in Russia despite their government. And a couple of years ago, Putin says there's a group of 16,000 people who control the world, and it is up to the future. And he was talking to these children, the future and the growth of y'all in the Russian motherland to make sure we can survive these 16,000 people. It's not what he fucking said, but that's basically.
All
right. God, I'm so sorry. We should put this on.
So I got a question.
Put some headphones on, Mike.
I got a question, right? So if you're saying there's nothing you can do about it, right? And these people control the destiny of the earth, the destiny of society.
Yeah.
Where do you see if there's nothing that can be done about it? And that's what you're saying. There's nothing that can be done about it. I've asked you multiple times. You're like nothing. You said nothing. Where do you see where do you see it headed? What do you see where it's going? Since there's nothing we can do about it anyway.
America has to survive intact while Europe battles for new borders.
But you just said there's nothing we can do about it, though.
That we have to survive. We got to survive this transfer of this.
You know what? This goes back to what I was saying earlier. I think there's going to be a mass exodus to South America. I think the next century is South America's century.
Well, they've been held
Which is really funny because all the poor people from South America are going to be here.
Well, they're being forced. So the people, like a lot of these people who come up through these nations are told by their pastors and their preachers through the church system to migrate up.
Yeah, Catholic charities.
So these people are being told, and they have you strip these nations for like the last 80, 90 years. And now these contracts are ending. So every time this happens, every time there's new contracts and new borders and new government exchanges, this will forever happen. There's nothing.
So do you
want to hear something funny? Sorry to bring up race again, TJ, but what's something's funny that people in America don't ever think about? most of the Western countries in South America are whiter than America.
Yeah.
They are so overpopulated with European descendants. They are literally whiter than America is.
There's a lot of
like,
everyone considers them to be some minority, and it's like, why? Because they speak Spanish or Portuguese, they're a minority. It's like,
well, white people have
white is
around.
gay.
So check it out. Do you think just we'll narrow it down to this? Do you think America is, let's say, 50 years out from the tipping point of collapsing?
No.
Nah.
America's gonna survive like probably
it's gonna be a slow
1,000 years. It'll probably be 1,000 years.
I don't think it'll be the
1,000 years?
No, that's nonsense. It's not going to be the number one economy in the world in 20 years, but it's not going to be like collapsed or anything.
Let's see what happens.
So you think in 20 years that we're never in the next 20 years we're not going to be the number one superpower?
Economy.
The number one economy.
I think for a while we're going to have the biggest military. But I think 20, 30 years out, China is going to be the number one economy.
China's going to. I can feel that. I can respect that. Yeah, I can see that.
Especially with BRICS, because they're going to have exclusive trading parties with a lot of countries in Africa, which, regardless of their politics, they're sick of being controlled by the greenback.
And we'll be signing those contracts with those BRICS nations. And we will not be signing those contracts through European mediators.
Yeah, but no, I think South America is going to be coming up. I think America is going to be slowly declining. This is the nature.
What is your thing with South America?
Hold on, Jay, it's the nature of empire. No empires last more than about 200 years.
Right. That's why I said America's on the verge of collapse. You're saying no.
I'm not saying collapse. I'm just saying we're not going to be the top dog anymore.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna ask you this then. Where are you getting
all of Rome? Right. It was a slow, steady decline for centuries until it dilapidated.
Right. Okay. You keep bringing up South America. I've heard you say this at least 20 times. What is this feeling that you have that South America is the move? South America is going to be the move.
Because of the resources, bro.
Because South America has done the socialist experiment for 100 years, right? We haven't yet. And so I feel like that's why socialism keeps picking up all these young, stupid kids in college and whatnot. And they keep getting, eventually it's always the young college kids that do the revolutions that turn a country into a socialist country.
It's right.
Pol Pot, freaking Cuba. It doesn't matter what it is. It's always the young, stupid college kids who have been indoctrinated into this. And that's what we've been doing for the last 70 years in this country.
I can feel that.
Okay, that's true.
May I say something?
That is true.
Okay, but let me finish my point real quick. All right. South America has already done this since the 1920s. So they've already played this experiment out, and we're getting to the tipping point where they realize this freaking crap doesn't work. We've become a breadbasket not a breadbasket. We've become a freaking economic basket case in the last 100 years, where we were the economic superpower of the West. Now they have the manpower, they have the brain power, they don't have the
military.
They have the real estate, they have everything to become the.
But they don't have the military. They don't have the guns.
They do. They absolutely do.
Yeah, and
they don't have the muscle.
That doesn't take that long to develop.
So
honestly.
South America and Africa.
Trust me, we will sell as much military to Argentina as they are willing to buy.
So South America and Africa are going through geopolitical economic changes, and they are taking over their nations. And since the
they don't have the muscle though.
Hold on. And since the 1700s going up to now, more and more of these nations that are in these regions are taking control, and the British, the Dutch, France, Paris, all those areas are being removed from the picture. And so like you got parts of Venezuela taking parts of Guyana, which is basically controlled by the French. You have the French leaving Niger. You have the French leaving Mali. You have the Bermudas. Their currency is no longer British currency. They renounced the Queen. All of these things are happening. So. You remember what? Like I'm going to bring back all of those boats that were off of the coasts of our nation after Donald Trump and that whole election shenanigans. One of the biggest things that was hidden in all of that, and the reason why all of those boats were locked up and basically turned off the coast of the United States, is because all the contracts are nullified. And then when you started seeing the ships come into the ports again, that means the contracts were renegotiated and they're allowed to distribute their goods and services into the ports of the United States. When those contracts are made, they're made in 99-year intervals. So these nations that are signing these contracts with Florida and New York, New Jersey, and the fucking and the freaking California coast and all of those areas, they're not going to sign 99-year contracts that guaranteed exchanges of goods. And
that's my job. You do know that's my job.
Money. The United States is not going to fail. It's not going to fall apart.
That's not what happened. That's my job. That's my actual job that you're talking about. When they were sitting off the West Coast, I'm longshoreman, ILA, International Longshoreman Association. That's my job. It's not what you just said, but I'm gonna let you have it though.
Go ahead. It was COVID.
Exactly. Exactly. It was not what you said it is, but okay.
Sure.
Yeah, COVID wasn't a thing.
No, sure, that's why they kept all those boats off of them. Sure. The United States isn't failing in 20 years. It's not failing in 30 years. We're good to go. Our money is going to stick around.
I'm not saying it's failing. I'm saying we're on a slow decline.
What the heck? But it's gonna go up. Like there's ebbs and flows of all markets.
Yeah, but
I don't see South America or South Africa getting the muscle. I understand what you're saying as far as, finding their own independence, falling from under the boot of the British Empire or France or whatever. I don't see them having the muscle and muscle is everything. We don't have, our GDP is trash. We don't make anything.
I don't think muscle is everything because their northern neighbors are American as long as they maintain. I mean, it's the same thing with Japan. Japan's economy is freaking fine, right? They're probably the most advanced culture on the planet right now. And it's because they use us as their muscle. So if Argentina says, they start this big economic boom, El Salvador, Uruguay, Brazil, they all start these economic booms and they're like, well, hey, USA, we'll be trading partners with you and we'll be your allies. Then the USA is obligated to be their muscle for them.
I don't know. The emperor stepped down. His son took over. His sister renounced all of her princess titles. She became one of the high priestess.
Who? What channel? Or
the
what?
Japanese emperor. And then she married one of the largest Jesuit college port mafia families in Japan. And all the Nagasaki contracts and all those areas, those contracts were finished.
When did the emperor step down?
A few years ago, and his son took over, and then the daughter married the Jesuit.
Oh, well, that's just a transition to the next emperor. That's how it works.
And Jay, I don't want to diss you. I don't want to be disrespectful, but nobody cares.
When you marry this is our conversation.
No, I'm not saying nobody cares as far as the conversation. I'm saying world-wise. Everything you just said about the Japanese transition of power, nobody cared.
Yes, they did. Absolutely.
The Japanese did.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bro, you gotta stop that.
You're out of your mind.
Okay. I didn't hear one word about it. It didn't rock the economy. Nothing changed. The stocks didn't shift. That was a Japanese problem or a Japanese transition. That was a Japanese issue. It didn't rock the world. And well, the emperor stepped down. Holy crap! The CNN at the bottom of the line. The time ticker. Japanese emperor just stepped down, and none of that happened. Nobody cared.
And the queen of Denmark or whatever, she just stepped down, and the son is going to
nobody cared about that neither.
And watch when
and the Queen of England just died, and Charles is the king now.
Hold on, watch when King Charles steps down, and then William takes over. There's going to be
please. Charles is an idiot. We've been begging.
There's changes of. You're seeing the changes of power happen before your eyes.
Yeah, but change of power doesn't necessitate change of policy.
It means a lot. It means a lot.
Yeah, and that's kind of the problem with America is that, we have we are so inconsistent because we have the change or the possibility of change every 4 years that's why like a lot of these countries.
Well, watch it, Mike. You sound like you're asking for a monarchy.
No, I'm just saying that, dude, if you're North Korea or Iran or Russia, for that sake, and you want to make a deal, these guys have political leaders that are in charge for 20, 30, 40 years.
Yeah, exactly. As I said, be careful because
we flip a coin every 4 years.
8 years. Well, basically 8 years. We'll say 8 years. I say 8 years. 8 years is good.
It's every 40. No, we flip a coin every 4 years.
It's either
heads or tails. It's either Republican or Democrat.
Well, how many times? Well, hold on a second. How many times have a president didn't get back-to-back terms?
Enough times that if you flip a coin, it's Republican or Democrat. And if it lands on the other one, your foreign policy just completely changed and all of your partnerships just completely went, what the hell are we doing?
That's not really true.
Yeah, but I don't want to, what you were saying, we put up North Korea, and I don't want a dictatorship, bro. I don't want.
No, I'm not talking about I don't want it either, but that's what I'm saying is friggin', I mean, do you think which Kim Jong are we on?
So after they killed Kennedy, the military and
after the CIA killed Kennedy.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did. So, what are you talking about?
They did. Yeah, they did.
They absolutely killed his brother.
They did.
Yes, they did. Do you not know this story? All right, I'm going to tell Jay this story. You can put a pin in your what you're saying. So Robert Kennedy Jr. has been out there and telling the story about what happened to his dad, because everybody in the on the planet thought Sirhan Sirhan killed Robert Kennedy Jr.'s dad, right? So Robert Kennedy Jr.'s lawyer, who put Sirhan Sirhan in jail, calls RFK Jr. up and he says, you have to look at your dad's autopsy. And RFK Jr. is like, why? What's the big deal? Sirhan's in jail, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to look at it. He's like, if you want to know the truth, what happened to your dad, look at his autopsy. All right. Robert Kennedy Jr. looks at his dad's autopsy. He sees where he was shot and he realizes Sirhan could not have killed him. What? The only person that could have killed him was the CIA operative to his side. Because what happened was they got the alert that that there was a threat. So they pulled Robert Kennedy off of the stage. They took him down this corridor. The CIA walked him into a room where Sirhan was. Sirhan took 2 shots. Those went into the wall behind Kennedy. He got tackled. He fired the other 4 shots in his 6-cylinder revolver. Those 4 shots are all accounted for. None of them went into Robert Kennedy. Robert Kennedy's autopsy shows he got shot twice in the back and once in the back of the head from close range. Who was walking him down there? The CIA.
So after they killed Kennedy, because they couldn't have a scenario like
just cleared up after the CIA killed Kennedy.
After the Europeans killed Kennedy, they could not have another Kennedy scenario happen. So it took them a couple years, and they finally created the Senior Executive Service, which is an aristocratic, bureaucratic hierarchy system that was implemented from Joe Carter. And who
apparently run the CIA.
Well, the CIA is just the OSS, which is the Office of Strategic Service, which is just an arm of the Army. And the Army is notorious with their railroad mafia cohorts at
Well, it
expanding
all boils
America.
down. It all boils down to whoever is the quote unquote deep state.
Well, they created the Senior Executive Service. So you're saying that everyone's rotating every 4 years, but that's not the case. You have individuals that are a part of the Strategic Executive Service, which is a position that is on top of your government position. So not only do you get your government pay, you also get a SES pay, and especially if you're SES, a Senior Executive Service, you're unfireable. There's
what do you do with all of this information, Jay? I'm not doubting you. I enjoy listening to it, but to a certain point, what do you do with all this information? Like if it's not this branch of government, it's actually this other branch of government, but it's not really them, because on top of them is this government, and then it's not really it's not the deep state government, because on top of the deep state government there's the shadow government, but not really the shadow government, because on top of the shadow government there's the royals, and then on the royals there's the. What do you do with all of this? I'm asking you, man.
Have a conversation with you.
Buy Bitcoin. I mean, literally, it's like that. As far as the financial system goes, that's the only thing you can do to get out of it.
Well, you can buy stocks. You can buy regular stuff.
Mm-mm. Tell me if the government wants to take your stocks away, can they?
Yeah.
Can they take your Bitcoin away?
Yep.
How? You have to give up your Bitcoin for them to take it away.
Or you just go to jail until you serve your sentence.
There you go. There's a guy in Germany. He had 60 or 80 million dollars worth of Bitcoin, and this was like 4 years ago. And the German police arrested him, and they said, "Give up the Bitcoin," and he just smiled and said, "Up your nose with the rubber hose." They could not take his Bitcoin. Whenever he gets out of jail, that $80 million is going to be worth trillions.
Yep. Well, the FBI has one of the largest wallets aside from the big giant.
Dude, did you see somebody just sent $1.18 million to Satoshi's wallet?
That doesn't mean anything.
Well, either some idiot decided to. Either it's Satoshi or someone just decided to burn $1.18 million worth of Bitcoin.
So was it 1.1?
Forgive my ignorance. Who is Satoshi?
1.18 million. He's the anonymous creator of the Bitcoin white paper.
He's the algorithm name that they used when the institutions made Bitcoin.
He's got 1 million Bitcoin. He's
probably not a person.
I think he is. I think he's Sergei Nazarov, personally.
No, he's the cryptological centers out of Georgia and Texas.
Yeah, but he's a person who was actually talking to the group to gather the cypherpunks together in order to program Bitcoin. He's not an algorithm. He was a person giving suggestions and directions.
It was
and then he noped out on the project.
It was a teamwork effort, because when all those patents became open in the early 90s, like no one's gonna know what's on like the Nokia patent. I mean, you can maybe, if you're that autistic, you could do that, but it takes a team to create Bitcoin. There's no way.
No, that's true. Yeah, he just wrote the white paper. It was the team of cypherpunks that he gathered to create Bitcoin that created Bitcoin. They were the programmers that did it.
And it was the government.
It wasn't Satoshi. Satoshi didn't just make Bitcoin by himself. It was all those cypherpunks. But once he was done with his part of the when he thought he got to a place where he could no longer do anything of benefit, that's when he quote unquote noped out. And coincidentally, that's when Sergei Nazarov started Chainlink. Also coincidentally, Sergei Nazarov bought the website smartcontracts.com before the Bitcoin white paper was even released.
Yeah, he could have been a part of the team. There's no way to dispute that, but like the cryptological centers of America are like impenetrable fortresses. And like you also have the same facilities in Switzerland, which coincidentally, the acronym for that super powerful Swissy cryptological advancement college, where everybody royalty beyond imagination go there, is the acronym is ETH. And so, there's
I've heard that before.
There's
but we've that's one thing, but that's got
there's no
Ethereum. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Vitalik Buterin. I mean,
he didn't do it by himself.
I've watched this guy since like 2017, since I got into crypto, dude. I've been watching this. That's why I was like an ETH maxi, because of Vitalik, and like, dude, his vision and his understanding and he is that kind of a nut. I mean, you've got a little bit too much black helicopter in you.
Black helicopter.
Everything is not a conspiracy, Jay.
No, it's not a conspiracy, but
black helicopter. I've never heard that one before. I like that.
I don't. I'm a contrarian, I suppose, but I don't. There are certain things
I did say that earlier. I did call you a contrarian earlier. By the way, let you know that.
The way I read and I study and the things that I look at.
Bitcoin's my biggest bag. Paint mark.
And all of those things, like
I'm just worried about the rabbit hole. The whole idea of the rabbit hole of where does it stop? At what point do you say, okay, as far as my life goes, I'm going to deal in this reality and move forward? Because the rabbit hole, according to, I have friends like you, and I'm not dissing you. And I'm not saying everything you say, you're probably right. I'm not saying you're wrong, but it's like, okay, at what point does information?
Hey, let me pull this back, TJ. I know you have a point you're trying to make, but let me just pull this back to a more like sort of central theme to
useless information
to us as individuals. Hold on a second, because we know that regardless of how much information we gather, what its effect on us are personally, how it affects our society, how it affects the world. We can't change all that stuff, right? But we are responsible for the time, the talent, and the treasures that God has given us specifically, so that we can use whatever we have to forward his kingdom, to make society better, not just for our families, but for the greater world. So whatever it is you have, you're not going to change the royals. You're not going to change Europe. You're not going to change BRICS. You're not going to change any of that stuff, but you can change the lives of the people that you directly affect. So that's where I think you should put your focus.
What did you say? What did you say?
Playing video games.
Yeah. I used to with my homeboys, man. We be sitting in the room and we smoking weed, man. We're deep. They're taking back to Egypt for me. You know what I'm saying? And before you know it, they talking about emerald tablets and all types of stuff, man. Just having real deep conversations, man. And we high as gas, so you know what's going on. And I would always be like, when does your quest for, and this is what I used to say it to him, like, when does your quest for the truth stop? Like, at what point does the quest, it's like your Indiana Jones. You know what I'm saying? At what point does your quest for the absolute truth stop? Is there absolute truth?
Yeah.
I mean,
all right.
I'm not talking about God and religion. You know I believe in the Lord. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about as far as worldly wise. When you're talking about, certain factions and governments and shadow factions.
Well, I mean,
the
absolute truth is what is reality, and we may not all have access to enough information to know absolutely what everything is in reality, but the
Right.
absolute truth does exist.
Okay. Now, if it does exist, at what point seeking it, what purpose is it going to? Even if you found out, like, say you hit Eureka, I found out is this guy is Dr. Evil. You know what I'm saying? You actually ran it all the way back to Dr. Evil and his bloodline. What does it solve?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's like it's something interesting to talk about it. 12:10 a.m.
Right.
But like
Conversation
when
arise.
you're
I feel you.
focusing your actually time, talent, and energies and treasure, focus it on the things that you can make a difference on.
All right. So what I'm showing here,
I'll be right back, guys. You go ahead.
You have to be here for this.
Okay. Well, then
go.
you'll wait until I refresh my drink.
Okay.
Yeah, Jay, I don't want you to think I'm dissing you, man.
I don't care. It's fine.
No, it's cool. I mean, I don't want you to think I'm being disrespectful. I'm dissing you, because you're very knowledgeable and smarter than me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to diss you.
I'm not smarter than you.
More knowledgeable. Knowledgeable. Yeah, more knowledgeable. More well-read, or however you want to put it. No, I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying that at a certain point, it becomes useless knowledge.
No, not at all. Not at all. Like, why do people spend their whole life studying the Bible? Why do people spend their whole life?
Well, but you can apply that, because you can apply, if you come the Bible, studying the Bible, you can apply that to your life. It's fair.
My personal interest is on, like, the power structures throughout history and who controls them. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like,
okay. Yeah. You find it interesting. Yeah, you find it interesting. I got you. It's more hobby, like somebody collect trains. Like somebody collect trains. You find it interesting. I can dig that.
Yeah.
I can dig that. My bad. I apologize, bro.
No, bro, I don't give a fuck. It has nothing to do
No.
with
I'm not. No, when I say I apologize, I mean that I apologize for misunderstanding you.
So, like, here's a good book: The Horse, the Wheel, and Language. This is a fucking fantastic. Excuse me. Well, he's muted. This is a fantastic book on early militarists and the creation of the horse and chariot, and the monopolist mentalities that went behind it. And another good book is The Militarism and the Indo-Europeanizing of Europe. This is another good book.
It's amazing, man. It's amazing, bro.
So putting books together, like with from these perspectives, and this, like, if you don't know who J.D. Bernal is, he's the guy who fucking invented the fucking. I keep cussing. I don't mean to cuss.
He's not. Yeah, it's cool. He's
the guy who created the X-ray machine, but he was like a commune. Like, he had the same perspective because of where he grew up, similar to Julius Evola, but he grew up in Italy around the same time as J.D. Bernal. But again, all these people were hanging out with royals who controlled the banks, who controlled.
Bro, you can see it. Zoom in right there. Look at that. See, it's bouncing off of that support line.
That chart is going. It's going down.
Spring, bro. That ain't going down.
It's going down.
Bro, the ETFs are about to get freaking approved. 11 ETFs are about to get approved. No. Don't freaking tell me Bitcoin's going down. You're
going down.
Crack.
You're gonna watch the ETFs get pushed off again. That's an ugly chart. It's gonna go down.
No, you don't have faith, bro.
Put that in monthly. Put it in monthly.
There is no freaking reason. Monthly, jeez Louise.
No, oh my god, you don't know how to read charts. Fix the chart. Just double click the side, and it'll squeeze it. So you don't gotta. There you go.
Portions.
Yeah, so that's a chart. So it's gonna go down. What's gonna end up happening? You're gonna end up.
How's that going down? How's that going down? Look at that. That's not going down.
No, the RSI is too weak. Not going up.
And we ain't got time to freaking dip before the halving either.
All right, anyway,
We're gonna go ETFs.
I mean-
ETFs are gonna be freaking
I got to ask you a question,
steroids
Mike.
to the chart, and then the halving is gonna come, and it's just gonna add steroid to steroid. We are
I got to ask you a question, Mike.
moon.
No, it's
I
going
got-
down.
I got money in crypto, so I'm not knocking crypto at all. I actually was one of the very few people that knew about it in 2008, and I wish if I would have put money in it then, I'd be rich. I probably would have lost my wallet though, because I only had like a Nokia cell phone, so I probably would have lost my wallet. I'd probably been one of those guys. But anyway, I need somebody to explain to me if money is based on the gold standard, which is not based on the gold standard anymore.
It's based on whatever you're trading it against.
So
you
what?
would bring up the chart.
What is crypto?
Turn that shit down.
How does it? What's the value? Where's the value in it, other than zeros and ones? And I'm trying to find out because I never had anybody to talk to about it. What's the physical value other than 0 and 1s?
Well, there's
37,000.
no. He's talking about what is the purpose. The quote unquote physical value is the technology itself. The monetary value is based on the faith that the people who believe it is a valuable currency put into it. So they take their faith out of the US dollar, the yuan, the euro, whatever the currency they're in, and they take that faith out of there and they put it into Bitcoin. It's a transfer of wealth from one market to another. Just same
So if
thing
I'm
with
not-
gold or anything else.
If I'm not mistaken, okay, the gold and whatever, I know the dollar supposed to be a note, for gold. I know the gold standard is going or whatever. I understand that. So with Bitcoin, the only thing that holds Bitcoin, well, not Bitcoin, just crypto, and I got money in crypto, but no Bitcoin. But the only thing that holds crypto together is we're saying it's valuable because we're saying it's valuable.
Because we're agreeing. It's the same as
Anything.
any money in history is based on the agreement that people in a population agree that it has value, whether it's salt, whether it's seashells, whether it's tulips, whether it's gold, or whether
that's different because those was tangible. Those was trade. You could trade it, and it was tangible.
97% of the U.S. dollar is not tangible; it's all digital.
96.
You agree with everybody else in the world that digital thing has value.
What I'm saying, when you went back to salt and gold and spices or whatever, silk or whatever, those are things that you can trade that does have value because you can actually put your hands on it and use it for a purpose. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's to season your food or make clothes with the silk or whatever. Nice. With the digital stuff, or even our current currency right now, but more so with crypto, it seems like it's like, what I'm saying? Like it's valuable because we say it's valuable.
Well, I mean, so bring up the dollar index real quick. And then after you do that, bring up that page, that paper I was showing you. Dollar index.
You know what I mean? I'm not hating. I'm just trying to figure out, like, is it leaning? I don't know anything about crypto. I just know I got some money in it. Is it leaning on anything? Or is it just that?
Is that the DYDX or is what is this ticker for the dollar? It's not the DYDX, is it?
It's like saying I got $1 million because I said I got $1 million, and this $1 million is worth $1 million because we all agree that I have $1 million.
DXY. All right, here we go. Here's the.
But if somebody came and asked me for my $1 million,
yeah, I have it on screen.
All right, go to yearly.
Go to what?
Yearly.
I guess it goes for all currency right now because gold standard is going
straight. This is the strength of the dollar in like 7 markets. So our dollar charting is still going to improve over the next couple of years, going through the Bitcoin halving in the next couple months.
Actually, it's losing strength on the VWAP, and
it's not. It's not going to lose.
Yeah, it is.
No,
this is a downward trend on the VWAP.
No, it's not. and it's like
I'm
RSI.
just trying to
Not
figure,
RSI.
Mike.
It's
Mike, what is it?
still
What is it
relative.
leaning on? What is it? What is crypto
Value of-
leaning on? What is its
Adoption.
value?
Adoption.
Adoption of
So,
what?
okay, hold on, TJ. Frickin', let me answer your question. So the reason the dollar has value in the whole world is because everyone in the world values the dollar. It's kind of it's not a catch 22. It's cyclical reasoning, really what it is, right? So when the whole world loses faith in the dollar loses its value, right? So Bitcoin, only a 20th of the population right now has faith in Bitcoin. As more and more of the population values Bitcoin, the value of Bitcoin increases because the supply of Bitcoin is not going to increase. It increases by a marginal amount every day, and every 4 years, the production of Bitcoin gets cut in half, and there will only ever be 23 million Bitcoin in total. So as the more demand comes in, the more belief and faith comes in, and the more use case comes in, it's called adoption, the more value comes in. When the whole world accepts Bitcoin the way the whole world accepts the dollar, then it's going to be millions of dollars.
All right, I'm gonna show you my Bitcoin chart real quick.
So crypto as a whole, I'm not even gonna just say I don't think I'm singling out Bitcoin because, like I said, I got money in crypto. But crypto as a whole is the equivalent of Republic credits.
How do you mean?
Well, it's just okay. Well, we'll say there might the dollar ain't based on the gold standard, but maybe oil. With the Saudis, their money is based on oil. There's something behind that dollar. There's a tangible resource that is based on that dollar. The note is $1 for the oil. You know what I'm saying? Because they have all this oil, they have the Saudi dollar or whatever, right?
But
America
I
would
mean,
go
yeah,
whatever.
I agree in the sense of that's what the petrodollar is. But the value of the oil, the value of the dollar is not determined by the value of the oil. The value of the oil is determined by the dollar.
Okay, so what I'm saying is with crypto, would you say it's the equivalent of Republic credits? Like this is just the empire's new form of.
Pretend like it's a stock. You don't got to get so technical. It's like a stock.
No, I think he's right. If you consider it like crypto is the currency of a nation, but that nation has citizens in every culture on earth, right? So it's like the yen. The crypto is the yen. But if suddenly not just people in Japan starting to use the yen, but people in China wanted to start using the yen, and people in Russia started wanting to use yen, and people in America wanted to start using yen, then the value of yen would go up and up and up because there's only so much yen, but more demand for people to use it. But Bitcoin doesn't have a country, so it's a global currency in its own standing, and it's universal because anybody on earth can access and use it.
I know.
All right, so from
does that make sense, TJ?
Yes, sir. Yes,
okay.
I use Fibonacci.
Republic credits.
I use Fibonacci retracing, and you use numbers that are based on 0.3, 82, 0.5.
Yeah, I haven't studied Fibonacci.
618 titles. So as you can see, my green resistance line was hit perfectly because
Zoom that in.
Huh?
Zoom it in.
And again, this is on a 3-month chart. Right. And so this is a natural resistance line going all the way back to 2021.
I get that, dude, but the freaking was the COVID black swan on the Fibonacci? No, it wasn't, because black swans aren't based on the charts, right? Black swans happen. Dude, the freaking ETFs getting passed is a white swan event. That is going to
If that
totally
happens.
screw your freaking Fibonacci chart.
So Bitcoin will probably go back to 26,000 or as low as 15,000.
You are high. Dude.
What do you mean by black
You are
swan?
high.
event,
You're not
John?
looking at on-chain data. The freaking the short-term sellers are out of coins. There are not enough people who are willing to sell at those prices for the price to collapse that much.
What do you mean by black swan and white swan? What does that mean? I'm just curious.
A black swan
I've
event
been
is
doing this
an
conversation.
okay. A black swan event is an event that happens outside of the markets that tanks the markets. It's an unexpected event like a world war or a global pandemic or something that tanks all markets across the board that no one could have expected.
So with COVID, we consider the black swan.
Yeah. So Bitcoin never should have gone down below $6,000 last cycle, but it went all the way down to like 3,800 because of COVID.
No.
Yeah, and that's a black swan. And that's a black swan.
Everybody knows this, Jay. What are you talking about?
You're insane. The chart you did. No.
What are you talking about?
It will happen. My charting's not wrong.
Bro, you're crazy.
Look at my last charting going all the way back to 2019. I've been doing this.
All right, now show me where 11 ETFs and trillions of dollars came in on your chart. It
doesn't matter. It's charting.
I think that matters a lot.
So through Fibonacci retracement, the peak is the resistance line around 28,000. Look at all these candles in a 3-month. You started a little above, you start a little bit below. The major resistance on these candles here. This doesn't count because that was a market indicator on April 22nd, Friday the 1st. Look at that.
These are your charts, Jay. This is your charts.
Yeah.
Now plug in 3 years of the SEC suppressing the price of Bitcoin. And then conversely, now that the SEC is no longer going to suppress the price, they are approving 11 freaking ETFs on the same day. Put that on your chart.
There's no. So on the bottom, even though I'm in a 3-month chart, on the bottom here, this is the relative strength index. There is nothing indicating, market or otherwise, besides the Bitcoin halving that would have the relative strength index blow past 70%.
I just want to say I'm gonna mute myself. This is way above my pay grade, and I'm just interested. But I'm gonna mute myself. This is way above my pay grade. But I'm interested.
Yeah, so like if you the Bitcoin halving will have.
You and I are both going to be freaking rich by April, so I'll just take your apology then.
Okay. If the relative strength index can accumulate and sustain above 70 for months, there is a potential that by the next halving, not the one that's coming up here, the one that's in like 2027 or 2029, which coincidentally happens before all the contracts in Taiwan and all that between 2030 and 2032, you will see you could see my targeting through Fibonacci retracement puts it around $63,000.
The next cycle 5 years from now?
Mm-hmm.
You're out of your freaking mind, dude. We're gonna see that by May.
I think it's I think the hype has got you.
Oh my gosh, because I understand what's happening. Dude, they can't not approve the ETFs, and they have to approve all of them on the same day. Otherwise, they're playing favoritism, which they can't do. You can't. Whoever gets the ETFs first, that's the person who's going to dominate the marketplace.
Look at the relative.
Unless BlackRock has Gensler freaking up against the wall with a gun to the back of his head, he has to approve all 11 ETFs on the same day.
Look at the relative strength index. And then you
stop
look at
going
the volume.
to the charts. This is a white swan event. This has nothing to do with your charts. I'm telling you. You know how much money is going to come into this market when the ETFs are approved?
There's nothing indicating that we will have substantial purchases in the market.
What the hell did I come into?
I'm just telling you, there's not.
It's above your pay grade. Just listen and learn. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm
So, like, I
listening and
changed it.
learning.
Yeah, so I changed it. So if I go to 1 year, the chart gets even grosser. So what's happening is you had in 21 a ludicrous candle growth, which can never be sustained even in standard markets. And then you had these 2 ludicrous candles following the next 2 years,
Hey, behind you.
which means there is irrational purchasing and irrational buying. So when you have those, so, and if you look at the resistance line,
Dude, look at what you're showing. Look at it.
showing my chart.
You're
My
showing
chart
the
never-
cycles. You're showing the cycles. You're showing 4
No,
years
you're-
pump, 1 year
I
dump,
guarantee
4
you.
years pump, 1 year dump.
I
Dude,
guarantee
we are
you.
the beginning. Look.
This is
Extrapolate the last 4 years before that red candle, and then go extrapolate that up. Freaking $60,000 is going to be
This is
pimple
the
on
worst.
ass of this market.
This is the worst candle you would ever want on any market.
Dude, that's not a total. That's the beginning of the
This-
market. Are you a
this-
Heikeneishi?
This doji candle is going to wreck.
Oh my gosh,
Bitcoin.
dude.
There's no strength. There's no volume. There's no market
Dude,
height.
look at
There's
that
no-
candle right after the previous red candle.
Something's coming after.
I'm telling you, no market can survive 3 of these candles in a row and have a doji
What do you mean 3 of
as
those
the
candles
4th
in a row?
candle. It's going to fall. It's
Dude,
gonna
you just
fall.
minimized those candles for the previous market.
Mm-mm. It's going to fall.
Ah.
Guaranteed.
All right, I'll bet you $1 that by March we are at your target price.
Ether is even
Okay.
worse.
I bet you $1.
They have a red doji candle.
$1.
They have a red doji
Jay,
candle.
take
so
my
they
bet.
finished on a doji candle.
Jay,
This
take my bet. Jay, take my
This-
bet. Take my bet.
Ether's going to drop below $600. Watch.
That is the funniest thing I've heard all year.
So you can't recover from dojis like that.
Oh my gosh.
Look at this candle after the gross, and this is a terrible doji as well, where you had the market.
And then what happened after that candle, Jay? Look at the next candle and the one after that.
Yes, because this was you know what this hype was. This was the first hype of the
This
big
was-
halving where
this-
Coinbase was locking everybody out of their accounts and everything.
Dude,
This was
ETFs
completely.
are coming in. Literally
None of these candles can
billions.
survive. You can't survive off these candles.
millions of dollars.
Look at the S&P. You can survive on these candles. This is a fake market. How do you get such candle swings with no volume compared to what you had in 2008 when the market economy
I
collapsed?
believe the trillions of dollars coming in will be volume. Tether
these
printed
candles-
$2 billion yesterday.
Standard charting
hear me?
says that when you have 3 candles in a doji like this, it's gonna fall. There's no support. Look at the RSI. The RSI is overblown, and it's been overblown all the way since 2013. So what happened in Bitcoin when it was overblown for months and months and months and months? Let's go and check a 3-month chart or 1-month chart.
Did we die?
So look what happened. So from 2016 all the way to 2018, the relative strength index was overblown for like 2 years, and then look what happened afterwards. Devastation. You had
It's
no
not
you had no
overblown. I'm
strength
looking
in
at the
the
right
market.
side of your chart. It is not overblown.
You had no strength in the market, right? And so
we're
now
not even in the parabolic run yet, dude.
So what makes you think, because you're hitting resistance line, and then the last major resistance was in June of 2023 on Thursday the 1st. So someone looked up the market that
That's a very
time.
good point. Look what happened to gold when they approved the ETFs. It went up
I can pull up gold.
420%.
I can pull up long-term
Pull up
gold.
gold.
Look at these candles. They're going to fail.
2003. No, go back further to 2003
No,
when they
so
approved the
if
gold
you take-
ETF.
If you take a Fibonacci retrace, boom.
Oh, brother, dude.
Boom.
First, go back. We're talking about the ETF approval. Go
Hold
back before. No. Stop focusing in on now. Go
So
back
if
prior
60%.
to 2003, all the way back to 1971. All right. And see that gold was about $400 that entire time for 3 decades. And then the ETFs got approved and it shot up 420% all the way up to $2,000. And then it retraced back down to 1,200, went back up to 2,000, which is where we're at right now.
There's no
I know
strength
this market,
to bring. There's no strength in gold to bring the Fibonacci.
I don't care.
Levels.
We're talking about when the ETFs were approved.
And I'm saying the ETFs aren't going to get approved.
You're wrong.
Mm-mm.
Dude, Nancy Pelosi just bought $5 million worth of NVIDIA stock. She knows the ETFs are going to be approved. Otherwise, she wouldn't be investing in video cards.
This is the beginning of a terrible Head and Shoulders.
You're ignoring everything.
Pelosi invested in NVIDIA?
Yeah, $5 million into NVIDIA because she knows that the ETFs are going to be approved. Last time, NVIDIA stock went crazy because when we're in a bull run, everybody's trying to mine Bitcoin. So the freaking graphics card industry goes insane.
All right. So the Fibonacci retracement.
This outside of market, that's outside of chart stuff doesn't chart, Jay.
Bro, I'm telling you, these markets won't lie.
That's
the
natural market when you're not talking about the external stuff that's happening. The ETFs will be approved within the next, what's the day? The 6th. Between now and freaking 4 days from now, the ETFs are going to be approved. And I think the when they get approved, you have until September. The money is going to be freaking coming in crazy. And between now and then, everyone is going to try to front run those ETFs actually coming out on the market. If you're smart, you will be front running that. You will be putting every freaking dollar. Sell your car, sell your dog, put it into Bitcoin.
Do you see this right here? This is a real chart. This is real gold chart.
My dog.
That's what I'm saying. That's the real chart until you see the bottom of that chart right there at 2003, and then the ETFs are approved, and the rest of that is ETF trading. That's what's going to happen to Bitcoin in 6 days, in 4 days.
It's not going to happen.
Oh my gosh!
I get a free drawing from you. I get a free drawing from you.
Well, what do I get from you?
My friendship.
The equivalent price of what the drawing would cost.
No.
No.
Yeah.
I really do have to pee, but gold can't handle. Gold has the potential to fall all the way down.
Just show them where 2003 is, March 2003, which is where, pull your cursor back all the way to March 2003.
March 2003.
That's where the ETFs were approved for gold. And look at the rest of the chart.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the ETFs will not be approved.
Yeah, but you're so wrong.
Mm-mm.
You're so wrong.
I could probably find out tomorrow.
Anthony, you don't know. If you do, don't tell us because
Pelosi
that's insider trading.
Nancy Pelosi, who is the queen of insider trading in all of freaking Washington, D.C., Nancy Pelosi invested $5 million
nothing
into Bitcoin mining, essentially.
But I don't trade, so how would that be insider trading?
What were you saying? You don't what?
No, what you call it? I know somebody who spent his life working on the stock exchange and made millions. So if you believe it and he says he believes it, then I'm gonna have to go with you.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
I swear Jay is like so hung up on.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'll just call him tomorrow and be like, "Do you think the ETFs are going through?" And if he's like, "Yeah, they're definitely going through," then I'll buy it. Yeah.
Yeah. Even Jim Cramer came out and said, "There's no stopping Bitcoin. It's not going away." This is I've been banging this drum ever since I showed up on YouTube. This is freaking.
Yeah.
When everybody was telling me to sell Bitcoin at 5,000, sell it at 6,000, sell it at 9,000, I'm like, shut up, you idiots! You have no idea what you're talking about.
Mark my words.
I am marking your words.
Bitcoin will not be able to survive
Oh
this
my
doji candle.
What?
Every
What?
This candle right here.
time you say doji, I keep thinking dojo.
What did you say?
Yeah, well, Doge, that's controlled by another royal family.
Okay.
No, like
You're useless.
there's no mercy in this dojo.
Oh, dojo.
Dojo.
Only.
It's a dojo candle.
So if you look at the dollar index, the dollar will grow, S&P will fall, Bitcoin fall, Bitcoin Cash will fall, and gold will fall. You can look at the charts and just see that there's no market strength. There's nothing, like, we're not gonna all of a sudden like put people on the fucking on Mars. There is nothing. Like, even when Donald Trump, they're gonna ruin Donald Trump's second presidency through economic turmoil, and the markets will go down and they will match the resistance in this fucking, or excuse me, pardon me, in this doji candle.
Okay, this is all you just assuming
I gotta check this game out.
that the ETFs will be disapproved. Which, point of fact, if they do, dude, we got the rumor of the disapproval and Bitcoin dumped, but it only went down to 40,000.
Because that's all, because the market can still handle the price of 40.
Right, because that's what I'm telling you, dude. There's not enough short sellers to freaking
Yeah,
dump
the
down to
FBI
where you're 16. What did you say?
Yeah, the
16,000?
FBI, they've been
You're freaking
hoarding
high.
Bitcoin. And you have all those other giant firms that have been hoarding Bitcoin because it's still purchasable conditions. But when it drops, because it will drop, they're going to buy even more.
No, I think that 40K dip was as low as we're going. I don't think you're
Look
ever
at my
gonna see
lines.
Bitcoin.
Look at those resistance. The resistance is clear as day.
Oh my gosh, dude.
It's clear as day.
If it was any normal market without the ETFs, I would agree with you.
It doesn't matter. The Fibonacci.
It does matter.
You can do this with Coca-Cola. You can do this with
But you can't do it to
BlackRock
the point,
stocks.
dude. You know, I'm sure you've got family and
Interpretive
friends who
charting.
you've talked to who will not get into Bitcoin, but you know, as soon as their broker or their freaking bank says, "Hey, do you want to put part of your retirement into the best performing asset in the history of mankind?" and they say yes, then hundreds of billions.
It's not the right time.
billions of
They're not
dollars.
going to do it.
Wow.
They're not going to do it.
They are going to do it. You know why? Because just like every cycle before this, as soon as we hit all-time highs, every Tom, Dick, and Harry starts calling you, says, "Hey, how do I get into Bitcoin?"
And look at these candles when they panic sell. Could you imagine this happening to Amazon or Coca-Cola?
Dude, that candle,
CNN?
that panic sell candle is the peak of the previous market.
There was these.
not
This is
at the
fabric-
peak yet.
This is unrealistic growth. When
That's-
you have
Dude,
candles
that's
this
the way it is
ludicrous,
every cycle. That's every cycle.
so remember, in markets, especially in interpretive charting, when you have candles that are this ludicrous, there always has to be a correction.
That's
no
right.
matter what. In every single
right.
company that's ever been in existence, there has been charting
Jay,
corrections.
Jay, I want you to zoom out. If you could get rid of the previous 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 candles. If you got rid of them and zoomed in, you'd be looking at that tiny little green candle where we came out of the bear market, and you'd be comparing it to that one that we're at right now. You're missing the two giant ones that come after it.
And these have to be
That's
corrected.
the parabolic run we have every
No,
cycle.
these have to be corrected.
You've been in this freaking market long enough to know how this works.
Mhm.
What are you talking about?
These candles will be corrected.
I don't
They
get
will be
excited about
corrected.
comic books.
With the Kariashi Maru or whatever you keep bringing up.
These are unsustainable.
They are
Candle
unsustainable.
prices.
That's the blow off top. We have that every cycle.
you have never had this happen before. Even
Yes,
going
we
back
have. If you zoom
way
out
back
and you
in the day.
reduce to that size,
No,
that's
this
exactly
is-
what that candle is before.
So
Every cycle does
so
this.
parabolic growth and charting always corrects.
Yeah.
Always corrects.
Yes.
No matter what.
100% I agree with you. We are nowhere near it yet.
Bitcoin has never corrected off of its parabolic growth going
You're
all the way back
you're
to this terrible doji
100%
here.
correct, Jay. But you're looking at the yearly. Oh, you're looking at the 3-month chart. You are in the beginning of the parabola. We have the entire parabola to go before the blow off top. We've barely scraped off the bottom of the bear market, and we're heading into the parabola.
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh. Every cycle this happens. Why are you ignoring every cycle? You can,
Right.
it's on the chart right in front of your face.
Look at this chart.
It's like literally
Look
on the chart in
at
front of
this
your face,
chart.
and you're ignoring it.
Here's how we
Look at
prove this.
chart.
Here's how we prove this. We copy and paste this into a music app that plays MIDI, and if this actually makes a song, then everything's gonna be good. If it sounds like gibberish, then it's gonna crash. That's my theory.
So look at SHIB.
I don't want to
Look
look
at
at
that
SHIB.
candle.
I don't care about SHIB except
Look
for that my
at that
friend is.
candle.
You know, my friend
Correct.
owns 1/5 of the supply of SHIB.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It corrected itself to an appropriate
A
charting.
meme token. It's not
Well, it
Bitcoin.
doesn't matter. There's still
I think that
still has
matters.
billions behind it. So this is another doji. So this is a red doji. So you will have a growth to a resistance zone, which will more than likely be around like the 2.3 to 3.8. But as soon as it hit those areas, you freaking sell everything that you got. Because what's going to happen is SHIB is going to retrace all the way back to its resistance zones, and it will literally sit there for maybe 5 or 6 or 7.
Here's how
or 8
Bitcoin
years.
works. This is the Plan B model. It tracks the bear market, the bull market, where the accumulation zones are and everything, and where the halvings are. This is where we're. Well, this is early. Yeah, this is
The next
this is the
halving
early.
will not be a parabolic growth.
The only way is because the
Plan B?
next halving will be affected by the fact that we're gonna have ETFs passed in the
No, we
next.
won't. It's not.
Why
it's
do you
not
think
gonna-
the ETFs aren't going to pass? What information do you have that leads you to the conclusion that the ETFs will get rejected? Gensler, the courts told him he had no legal right to reject the ETFs. He refused at that point to appeal. Therefore, he had to go through, and then the next opening for the ETF approvals is January 5th to January 10th, which we're in the middle of now. Several of the companies who have applied for ETFs also applied for advertising their ETFs and have already started advertising. So their approvals for advertising, what do you think that means? They can advertise, but there's not going to be an ETF.
It's to
I
steal
don't
your
think
money.
so, dude.
It's to steal your
And
money.
all 11
when
of
they
them
get
have to be
denied.
approved at the same time. Otherwise, Gensler's showing that he's got favoritism, and at that point, someone's just going to crucify him.
Crucify.
I don't know where you're getting this idea that the ETFs aren't going to be approved, but you're way off your rocker.
I've been in crypto since the beginning, and I know. what I'm
And
talking
everyone has been waiting for the ETFs, and you know that the SEC and Gary Gensler have been freaking stonewalling the ETF approvals
about.
for
You're going to have
years.
Lisa Barsumian and all of those other all those other people who are going to get in the way. It's not going to happen.
I disagree. Who's going to stop it?
This should be allowed.
Probably the SEC.
Also dead.
Mm-mm.
They'll make another excuse.
BlackRock's more powerful than the SEC, and they want the ETF approved.
Well, the SEC is on BlackRock's side, and I guarantee you, BlackRock really
That's
don't
right.
want the ETF
Yes,
to be.
they do, because they applied for it. They are putting pressure on the
Yeah,
SEC.
just because you apply
to
for it, that doesn't mean
approve.
anything. You're setting up language and future.
Dude, they've had 456 ETF applications. Only one of them hasn't been approved. This isn't going to be the second.
None of them are going to be able to do it.
Dude, you are going to be so happy to be wrong. Yeah, but this will be the most excited you are ever to be wrong in your life. Tell me I'm wrong.
You'll be able to pay the $750 for the artwork you're not going to get.
Yeah. And the reason, so if other charts and if the dollar index was kind of like in a weak position, unlike it's been in the last couple of years, there's too many. I've been doing this for a long time. I've sold a lot of Bitcoin, bought a lot of Bitcoin, sold a lot of Bitcoin. There is nothing different now than a few years ago, before the parabolic growth, in these arguments. Like there was people like me and there was people like you saying even back then that the ETF is going to pass, and lo and behold, the next Monday or Wednesday when they do their meetings, the ETF isn't passed again. So like this is like, so like if the market had relative strength, if the dollar index was in a weaker position, and geopolitically from the European perspective, they had more going for them, you could see the growth of Bitcoin this next halving, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. This next halving is a hype. The Doji candle says it, and you're going to see what's going to happen.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah.
And we'll know within the next 4 days.
I'm just saying, when Bitcoin falls again, just have
We'll
money.
We'll know by, what is that, Tuesday? Monday? What is it?
Friday,
Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We will know by Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday, 5 o'clock, right? We will know if the ETFs are approved. If the ETFs are approved by Tuesday, 5 o'clock, you and I never have to worry about another bill in our lives.
I'm not that optimistic.
Well, I'll be optimistic for you, buddy.
I don't know. It's too crazy. Like there's no 1999, the internet is going away moment. There's no internet bubble moment. There's no 2008 calamity. There's like, the Fed has printed so much money from an inflationary standpoint that the inflation problems that they've caused, which you've seen in the charting when I had the relative strength index on the charting in the bottom, shows that there's no hype. There's no hype. So like the last time Bitcoin hit its parabolic mark, there was the news was insane. Oh, Bitcoin's going this. There's circumstantial scenarios that will happen that will lead up to.
But Jay, we're still just shy of 2 years away from where the parabolic peak should be, anyways.
That's what I'm saying.
We're barely getting out of the bear market. The bottom was last January or December.
I don't believe the bottom's even been hit. No. You can hit the bottom for 1 hour, for 5 minutes.
You are a crazy person.
Those candles prove.
True.
No, those candles bring. Oh my! You guys.
I'm not even talking about Bitcoin and stock market. You're just a crazy person.
We are just ramping up the bottom of the parabola now. This cycle is every 4 years. You've been through how many? When did you get into crypto?
Around 400, 500.
You got into Bitcoin at $400?
Mm-hmm.
So was that 2000?
The early mid Facebook days.
2000. Was that 2000? 2015, something like that?
Facebook hit 2007, 2008. So.
Oh, early. Well,
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
around
Bitcoin was 2009.
2017,
Bitcoin.
2017, 2016, I think.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, Bitcoin was June of 2017. Bitcoin was $3,000. That's when I got in. So you and I have been through this cycle. This is our third cycle. So
I
know,
never had a Mount Gox account. I
no,
wasn't that early.
dude. My buddy that has the SHIB, he has like 800 grand in Mount Gox.
I will tell you that I've lost over 4 Bitcoin, and I punched the floor multiple times when I realized that that had happened.
I could see that happening. Yeah, but you've been through these cycles, and you
Yes, I
know,
have.
you know, we're at the bottom of this parabola. We're just starting to go up, and we have 2 years. And technically, if it wasn't for the ETFs, next year would be the blow off top. The end of next year, third quarter next year would be the blow off top, right? According to all the other cycles. What do you mean no?
It's going to be around Taiwan. It's all going to be around Taiwan.
It's always a specific number of days from the halving or thereabouts.
And it's not going to be this halving. It's going to be the next halving.
Every halving has a blow off top.
Yeah, this is going to be minimal. I just told you the relative strength index not only has it been going down
60 grand, dude. We're going to be
from a charting perspective.
I'm telling you, we'll be at 60 grand by March.
No, we will not. We will not.
I think we'll be at 60 grand before the halving. For sure. For sure, we'll be at 60 grand before the halving.
Absolutely not.
You're high.
I
Well, that goes without saying.
That it does go without saying. Oh man.
I've loved charting way too long. Heather's dad, he was in commodities and all that, and he helped me early on, way back in the day.
And I totally believe in charting, dude. I believe in TA. I believe in all of that stuff. And you could, on a normal cycle, I might agree with you, but I am telling you the ETFs will be approved. And I'm not hearing a real argument from you how
I've learned from very good chartmen along my days, and I just can't. What I know, when I look at a chart, I can see a chart.
Yeah, but
does that make sense?
Like the ETF approvals are not in the charts, just like COVID wasn't in the charts. COVID wasn't in the charts. Black swans aren't in the charts.
There's always events in markets. Who cares?
But they're not in the charts.
Yes.
No, COVID was not in the freaking charts, dude.
Yes, it is. The candle. I will show you. I'll show you.
No, again. I mean the event was, but you couldn't have prognosticated the COVID dump.
Good. You know how? Show my screen. Because of this candle. This candle cannot be sustained.
No, go back to COVID. Go back to COVID and show me how you prognosticated COVID.
This is last year and this is year before, which is so. Like I was saying before,
COVID was 20
COVID dump
2020.
How you prognosticated it?
There is no.
It's not on the chart.
Look at the weekly chart, bro.
You could not have forecast the COVID.
Let me reinforce my conversation even more. So your relative strength index is based off of a lot of inputs. So when you're looking at things from like a day, let's say for example, if you're a day trader, and not all day traders trade on stocks in a day, they weeks and months at a time and things like that. But you base your assumptions off of the relative strength of the commodity that you're trading, right? So if I look at Bitcoin in a weekly perspective at its relative strength, it's blown out the top, right? So nothing can sustain itself above 70%. You can for a time if you have like some ludicrous shenanigans that happened when Bitcoin went through the roof, but those are circumstantial scenarios that don't happen too often.
Like ETF approvals, perhaps?
So its relative strength index is already blown off the top, right?
I noticed
So
you
if
ignored that.
So if I go back to, so this is on a weekly charting, its relative strength with no volume is off the chart. It's above 70%. So
How's that no volume, dude?
There's no volume. This is awful volume. Look at this volume.
I wouldn't say it's no volume.
This is no volume.
How much is it? How much is that daily?
This is weekly. So the last big day and the big chunk of time you had was around this area.
Reminds me of this other game.
The holidays. You usually get your holidays.
Yeah, but you only get those on freaking pumps and dumps.
So we're looking at a relative strength from a weekly perspective.
I'm just saying you only get that kind of volume on pumps and dumps.
With low volume, right? So if you look at your relative strength, let's even go to a 6-month perspective. You're riding right at 70%. Ignore these lines, the crazy lines. So from a 3-month perspective, with no volume, you have no hype. In a weekly perspective, you're blown out from the relative strength versus volume. So there is nothing that's going to keep a weekly relative strength in the hype zone above 70%, which is where a stock or a cryptocurrency grows, because you have a lack of volume. So if you're throwing up all this hype based off the ETF going, where is the relative strength to the growth of the coin? You have nothing. There's nothing there. So even if you break it down, because I always love 3-month charts, you get, because there's 4 quarters in a year. You end up with a doji, and the relative strength, again, because it's exhausted in a weekly chart with no volume, you have no strength. Quarterly, look at the volume last quarter, last 3 months, dumpster fire. So if there is truly a hype going into ETFs, you would see volumes like you saw.
Does that candle start 3 days ago, 6 days ago?
But look at these volumes. So these
no. That candle you're complaining about being a doji, does it start 6 days ago? Because that's the start of your 3 months.
This is the end. So you can never sustain this candle here. So this is an unsustainable candle. And this is the Monday, January 24th. So you're starting out on a doji off of a unsupportable candle, which also has weaker dojis behind it. These are unsustainable candles because the volume starts here and ends here, and the trade volume and the buy and sell is in between.
Dude, that candle started 6 days ago. That's the January candle for a 3-month candle.
Yes, that's established. Yeah. There's no.
Now go back and look at those other candles before that where they went up freaking.
There's no strength. There's no strength. This candle has to be fixed. This candle has to be fixed. Look what happened.
That candle can't be fixed. That candle is done.
The last 2 times
the
you had
one we're
these
currently
candles,
in, you don't know yet because we're only 6 days into that candle. How are you making this judgment based on 6 days in a 3-month candle?
Because of the relative strength, the previous candles, the market value, and the geopolitical scenarios that are going on. And you're saying that the ETF is happening, but look at the volume in the last 3 months beforehand. It's pittance, absolute pittance.
It'll go
So
up.
if you were to truly believe,
Trust me, if trillions of dollars come in with the ETF, it'll go up a lot. They printed $2 billion in Tether last night. You know that's going into Bitcoin.
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
For those who don't know, Tether is a stable coin. People buy stable coins to get into the market. They take that market and they take it and they put it into primarily Bitcoin because most people don't enter the market into altcoins.
If you owned a dime and quarter company and your stock looked like this, on a quarterly chart, you would be losing your shit because you have no idea where the bottom is.
You're like ignoring the freaking habit. You ignoring the cycles. I don't
There would be
understand.
more volume. If the ETF were going to be approved, there would be more volume.
There will be. People are freaking waiting for it to be approved.
Okay, gang, let's split up.
What do you think, Anthony?
What?
I'm not really good with these charts things, man. Can't ask me.
I mean, we have been beating a dead horse.
Yeah. We're just gonna have to see in the next 4 days.
Idea was to leave you at that ship.
Well, I just have my opinions. You have yours.
Yeah, clearly.
Idea.
And I don't agree with your. I don't disagree with your technical analysis. I'm just saying you're ignoring
No.
that the ETFs are going to be approved, and I don't understand your argument that they're not.
I'm getting a free drawing, y'all.
And I think I'll be getting $1,000, right?
God, gosh darn it! I don't think it's $1,000.
If you want to make it a free drawing versus $1,000, I'm game.
I
did that. I did that with the Trump winning the president, and I had to give somebody a drawing.
Hold on, let's see here. I'll pull up a crypto wallet real quick.
By the way, you want a tip? I mean, I'm always about Squid Grow, so you should get Squid Grow. But dude, there's this token called Tectum, TET.
I will give you the one Bitcoin gold I have, if I'm wrong,
I'll pass.
and that is $18.
Bitcoin Gold. Why do you even have Bitcoin Gold?
Bro, I've had that.
The fact
'cause I
that
used
you
to have-
have Bitcoin Gold.
I
makes
used to
me
have
very-
I used to have a little bit of Bitcoin, and you remember when
Oh yeah, so you
we
got
had
it
the
airdropped.
Bitcoin wallet? Yeah, so that's the last one I have. I sold them. I sold a couple of them like around 300 some change.
So this is Tectum. Are you familiar with? You're familiar with all the Ethereum second layer solutions, right?
Yes, they're trying to put a new layer. Look at that fucking. I don't mean to cuss. I really don't. But that relative strength in that bot, it's going to go down, 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 down.
Well, okay. Fundamentals here. This is a Bitcoin second layer solution. It's the first. I think it might be the first, but it's the best one, far superior to Lightning Network. So.
Oh. Oh. Alright, can I do this?
I found a hand.
Yeah, I can do that.
What is that?
Nothing.
Is that all you got in Bitcoin?
No, that was 30,000 in Verge.
In Verge, really? XR,
Yeah.
Was that XRG?
XVG.
XVG. So anyways, this is Tectum. It's a second layer solution for Bitcoin, and it's also sort of like a privacy wallet. So I think it's something that's going to do pretty well. Also, get Squid Grow.
I was trying to hide my address and everything.
Why?
I don't know.
Addresses
I
are-
don't want to. Someone.
Nobody's going to hack your address.
I've done. Well, it's not hacking. You can see like the money I've exchanged and stuff like that.
No, it had 4 legs.
So I don't. You know what I mean? Not like you. I mean, you could probably pause it and type down the whole address, but
Yeah, I was talking to somebody, and I showed them something, and they just went to my wallet and they looked at my whole wallet, and they're like, "Oh man, you have all this." I'm like,
yeah. So
"Damn it, dude."
yeah.
So, what's up, Anthony? You want to change
Chilling.
the subject?
Chilling. Yeah. Whatever. You guys are doing your thing.
Hey, I was about to
Well,
ask
Jay and I are. I mean, there's not a lot of people in our space that really get
Yeah.
crypto besides us.
It enjoys it.
that.
So.
But it actually reminded me, like my one buddy that I used to work with, young kid, he's been into this stuff since he was like a teenager. Like he's like in his late 20s and he's already like a millionaire.
I made so many mistakes.
Yeah. But he doesn't act like it or live like it, which I'm pretty like as a young kid that like I watched grow, like, you know, he started off as a busboy at the restaurant, work, you know, up until right after COVID, and then he stopped and he went in. He's got his own. I don't know what he does, but it's crypto oriented, and he's got his own business doing something, for lack of a better term. I guarantee you probably follow him on Twitter, Mike. I mean, like,
What's his name?
I'd have to look. I can't think of it off the top of my head right now. But he's like he's got like hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitter.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And we're supposed to say we're gonna meet up, have dinner. Well, we'll probably grab a burger and a beer over at this place that we like to go to. And
Is he a crypto influencer?
Yeah.
Oh, hook me up with the dude, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
He actually had one account that he actually sold for like $100,000, and then started another account.
That's weird. Why?
I asked the same thing. Like, why would you sell your account? But apparently that's like a common thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know.
No, I mean, if he knows what he's talking about and people respect him, I'd love to, you know, contact with him, because
I mean, it was weird when he first started telling me about this stuff, because, you know, like, I'm looking at this guy like, you know, I remembered you were 16. Like, what do you know what I mean? Like, how do I take you seriously when I used to have you carry my garbage cans up? But like,
do you have a YouTube channel?
He does a podcast. I don't know if it's on YouTube. Or if it's an actual podcast, like, you know, that you would need like iTunes or Spotify or something for.
His name's not Jeb, is it?
No. I mean, unless he goes by a screen name. Like, you know. Nah. I mean, I'll tell you, his first name is Matt. I'll say that much.
Okay. Yeah, there's this guy, Crypto Jeb, who started about that age. And like he's early 20s now, and he's just, you know,
there's so many young dudes.
Yeah.
Who are millionaires who we'll never know about.
You get it. You know, I mean, I started this whole thing because I read Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it totally changed my concept of, because my dad was a poor dad, right? My dad was rich in the sense that he worked in hardware, software. He worked at IBM in the 60s. He worked at, you know, all the way through the career, ended up at Sun Microsystems in the 90s and until he retired. Paint Monk likes Jeb. I love Jeb, dude. He's a good kid. Christian too. But he always had that poor dad mentality, which is like, you know, pay down your house, don't have any debt, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff that like you grow up and you're like, oh yeah, that's how you do well in life and blah, blah, blah. And he ended up, you know, when he would get these stock options from these IBM in the 60s. Can you imagine having stock options from IBM in the 60s? Right. If you'd have just held on to those, you'd have been a multimillionaire, you know. But I mean, Sun Microsystems, and every time he got his stock options, he exercised them, sold them, and paid down his house. Right. And it's like, it's not, your house isn't the only thing that's going to go. And then you get all of your net value is locked up in your house, because you're not willing, if you have that mindset, you're not willing to take a loan out against your house, because, you know, my house is mine free and clear. So I don't want to, you know, take loans. I don't want to be in debt. But the reality is all of our money is debt, you know? So when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, I started looking for things to invest in. And I had just sort of started hearing about crypto. thing that kind of sucks is I heard about it like 3 years earlier when Bitcoin was about $300, but my friend didn't really explain it to me at that time very well. So I was like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Well, when it first got explained to me, I had the same like thought process that I was like, so it's fake money. Right.
Yeah.
Like,
And then you realize that all money is fake money, and then you're like, oh wow.
Well, right, but like it's untangible money that like.
That was the dollar.
No, it's
Well, I mean, I can go to the bank to an ATM machine and pull cash out of my bank account, or
What's
I can
cash?
keep it in. I mean, it's just a note, right?
It's a piece of paper.
Yeah.
It's got ink on it.
Well, it's a note.
Does it have an intrinsic value?
It's legal tender.
Yeah, but 97% of the US dollar is all digital. They've only ever
Right.
printed 3% of it. So
Right, because most people
Essentially
keep it in their
essentially-
bank and they use their debit card, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so right.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to, you could rush to the bank. You know, you could collapse a bank by doing it, but we could all rush to the bank and friggin' pull out all our money and
true.
have it in our
Can't do that.
hand.
Can't do that in some European banks. They'll refuse your money to be withdrawn.
Well, we're not in Europe. I'm talking about here in the States.
Just saying.
Yeah. But so yeah, so to me it was just like to me it was like
Hold on,
okay.
I just want to show you the intrinsic value of cash.
Yeah, but I mean you know what I'm trying to say though, like the mentality of like having something physical in your hand as
Oops.
But no one really has cash in their hand anymore.
Dadgummit. Here it is. Here's the intrinsic
Well,
value of cash.
in-
This is the Venezuelan bolivar.
well in my line of
this is
work
what
cash
the-
is
This is
king.
what- yeah, I
Yeah.
know, but eventually when you inflate it enough, it's on the street, nobody cares.
Right. But what I'm saying is like in my line
They
of work,
decorate a tree with it.
you know, in my line of work,
Look at this.
if somebody's handing me $100 in cash, I'm a lot more grateful and probably go that extra step rather than like if they're gonna put $100 on their credit card.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because when it's on the credit card, then it's traceable.
It's taxable, right?
Well, that
Well,
was you were
all
trained.
of it's supposed to be taxable, but you know, yeah.
Yeah. Fuck taxes. I mean, screw taxes.
I might let you get away with that one. TJ, you still here?
He's muted.
He probably fell asleep listening
Right.
to the.
No point in having him on the screen if he's not here. If he unmutes himself, I'll let him in.
But yeah, so that was my my naive, my not understanding, not having explained to me really well. It's like, oh, cryptocurrency. I'm like, what's that? They're like, oh, these guys make this digital money, and I'm like, how? Like, how are they?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, how are they making it? How is there a value behind it? Like, that was never explained to me. Like,
Well, they,
you know,
the machines, it costs a lot of money for the technology, and the machines, it takes a lot of energy and power to produce the currency. So there is an intrinsic value to the people who hold all the Bitcoin miners, who hold these institutions that have these private keys with large amounts of money. So there's
And
always
not just that, the utility of Bitcoin. It is the single most secure information system ever devised by mankind.
right? But like, so like, what? Okay, so let's bring the dollar back to before the petrodollar, right? When it was actually backed by gold, right? That was that you had a note saying that you had
$20 worth
$5.
of gold, you could go exchange it for $20 worth of physical gold, right?
Right. What is the intrinsic value of
Gold.
crypto, of Bitcoin?
Oh, well, I was going to ask what is it? Because see, even in today's market, gold trades at $2,000 roughly. Gold's intrinsic value is significantly less than $2,000. Right? Even gold.
Maybe intrinsic was the
think of
wrong
that as
word.
the apex of hard money.
Right.
Even gold doesn't trade at its intrinsic value.
Right, but so
Yeah, 'cause
what's the backing behind crypto? Right, like how does that?
We've just
Like-
explained it. We told you.
Yeah,
Well-
but he might not have been here. That was for TJ. You
No,
wanna
we just
go this
did
way?
it. Like the miners, everything that it takes to make. Like,
No,
it's not
that's
made up.
that's not
Right.
the answer he's looking for. I'll
That's-
explain it to you. It's the same way you think about. I'll use the Japan explanation, right? What's the American value of the yen?
A leech thing jumped towards my face over there.
I don't know. I don't know the exchange rate.
Nothing. I could have a suitcase full of yen in America, and I couldn't do jack squat with it.
I don't agree with that.
No, you couldn't. You could. I
You'd
mean,
have
you
to
might trade it to
exchange
a
it.
collector, or you might take it to a bank and exchange it for US dollars. But I can't go to a store in America and buy anything with yen, right? It's
Right,
useless.
right,
Paper
right.
with ink on it, just like the dollar is paper with ink on it.
right.
Bitcoin is a currency like yen, but it doesn't have a centralized government or country. It has a decentralized user base that is based in the tens of thousands of computers around the world that run the nodes that keep track of the ledger of the record of the entirety of the crypto history of the Bitcoin history. That's called the blockchain, right? So
Right.
because it is just like the yen, it is a currency that a significant number of people utilize. It has value within the ecosystem of the people who utilize it. Now, imagine that the yen, instead of being set aside in an island where that's the only country in the world where it has value amongst its people, people in China decided they wanted to start using the yen instead of the yuan. People in Russia wanted to start using the yen instead of the ruble. People in India wanted to start using yen instead of the rupee. People in America wanted to start using yen instead of dollars. There's still only a set amount of yen, but because the demand for yen is now worldwide, the value of the yen increases. It's supply and demand. Simple economics, supply and demand. The more
Right.
people want a thing, the more the value of
Okay.
it goes up. So
All right,
the Bitcoin is a currency without a country.
Right. No, because I understand, like, you have to take the Bitcoin and then exchange it to have money, right? Because
No,
like I can't.
if you were willing
can
to
buy a
take
house with
Bitcoin for
Bitcoin.
your car, that's an exchange of value.
Yep. You
Right.
can buy
But,
a house.
okay.
You can
So
buy...
what's
I would rather be paid in Bitcoin than the dollar by anyone I do anything for.
okay? But what is backing the coin? Is there like, you know what I mean?
Literally just
Said it.
explained that.
What?
the strength of people holding them in their wallet, the amount of electricity and the amount of money it takes to mine a coin.
Yeah. When there was like 200
Well, that part doesn't make sense to me.
when
the
there was like
whole
hold on, when there was like
mining
listen, when there was like 200 people interested in Bitcoin, somebody sold 10,000 Bitcoin for a pizza.
Oh my God.
Technically 2 pizzas, right? Because like I'm saying, you have a small pool of people and you have millions of Bitcoin. It's not worth the value, the supply and demand. There's more supply than there is demand. But if you suddenly have 1 billion people, but there's only 23 million Bitcoin, supply and
I
demand
understand
flips on its
that.
head.
But like I said, like if the dollar bill was backed by gold, what is backing Bitcoin?
The dollar bill's not backed by gold. It hasn't been since 1971.
Yeah.
Right. I said let's take it back to that before the petrodollar, when money was backed by actual
But that's the thing. It's even the petrodollar,
rare precious metals.
oil. The price of oil is determined by the value of the dollar, not the other way around. Literally, the dollar is only backed by IRS agents who will come and put you in jail if you don't pay your taxes. That's literally the only thing that backs the dollar. The otherwise, it's all of us just making this silent agreement that a dollar is worth a dollar. There's nothing intrinsically that backs the greenback anymore.
Dollar ain't been worth a dollar for a long
Since
time.
1971, actually since 1913.
So there's nothing backing. There's nothing backing crypto.
Yes.
It's
Except for
as
except
far
ex,
as
except for
anything-
a unanimous belief
Same
that
with
it's
any
worth something.
currency. It's
no, it's not even unanimous. It's just like I said about Japan, right? There's like 50 million people in Japan. Well, actually, I
Right.
think there's 200 million. 200 million people in Japan. Only 200 million people on the planet of 8 billion people give a damn about the price of yen.
Right. And you said if some other country wants to start using yen and another country wants,
And the
so
value, the purchasing power of yen would go up.
I'm not asking about the purchasing power. I'm
That's
asking
what that is literally what you're asking about when you say value. Value is determined by purchasing power.
yeah.
Otherwise, there's no such thing as value.
And the value of Bitcoin now is like 40,000, and you only need like 2 of them to buy a Tesla. And whereas with the dollar currency, you need $81,000 to buy a Tesla. So like the value is there. The value has been established. There's no.
But it's just established based on the belief of the people that are
No,
trading.
it's just not
it.
a belief system. It's much commodities and everything have entered the Bitcoin market long ago. So like your replies are like automatic replies based off of like nonsensical conversations that have been brought up along the way. There is value behind Bitcoin.
I'm not arguing. I'm just trying to understand because to me it just seems like it really does still seem like it's just made up of okay. We agree that this is worth something.
Yeah,
That's it.
and there's weight
Anthony,
and
well,
there's
hold
value
on,
behind
Anthony,
it.
you understand that is what you just said is the entire history of money.
Yeah. it's
Well,
all
it
money.
was backed by precious metals because they were supposed to be
No,
rare.
not all.
Hold on.
No.
Why?
At one point,
Hold on. Why were precious metals valued?
because they were rare at the time.
No.
Because people
Absolutely not.
agreed that they had value.
Well, they were rare.
There
It
was
doesn't matter.
there's a
People
commodity system.
agreed. That's why I used the example before. Salt has been used as a currency.
Yeah.
Seashells have been used as a currency. Tin has been used as a currency.
Bison
Paper has been
furs.
used as a currency. Bison furs, beaver pelts. You can name a
they're-
billion things that have been used as currencies. And the entire reason they are currencies is because people agreed they had a certain value.
Well, bison pelts and
You can make any excuse you want. Salt.
that was more
Doesn't-
barter.
it doesn't matter.
But I
it's
do
not
know
working.
I know what you mean by I know what you mean with
It's
the salt.
exchange. Like anything has a value. Comics. I can trade you comics for cash. I can trade you comics for Bitcoin. I can trade you comics for more comics. I can trade you comics for record albums. There's an established price base behind it. The intrinsic value is already added, and it's been added over time. So you can replace leather pelts, albums. You can replace all those words with Bitcoin, and it would still be the same. There's the same idea processes behind the exchange of goods.
Right. I think what I'm trying to say is I understand the mentality of precious metals and a note.
Bitcoin can be considered a precious metal. There's no.
But it's not a metal.
Here's the crazy thing. Bitcoin is the hardest asset in the history of the world. Because if you need more gold, so here's what happens in the gold market. Gold hits $2,000. What happens? People start mining more gold. They start finding more gold. They start digging up more gold. More gold comes into the market until the price gets depressed. And then when the price gets depressed enough, people stop mining gold because it is no longer profitable. But then the price comes back up. People start mining gold. And that's what kind of keeps the price of gold at an equilibrium. We're not going to get much over $2,000 in the foreseeable future. With Bitcoin, it's a hard asset because we have a stopgap at 23 million tokens, which we're not going to reach for 160 years. So that's not really the point. But there are only a certain number of Bitcoin mined every minute. Right now, I believe it's 6.25 Bitcoin per 10-minute block. Am I right, Jay?
It's like 10 to 16 minutes, something like that. Yeah.
In the 16-minute block. So that's as much Bitcoin as is produced. At the halving, the number of Bitcoin produced per block gets cut in half. That's why it's called the halving, right? So supply shock kicks in. There's half as much being produced. Even if you maintain a steady amount of demand, the value goes up because the supply goes down. The law of supply and demand cannot be controverted. So that's why I'm saying it's the hardest asset in the history of mankind, because you can't ever go out and mine more Bitcoin that is being produced by the programmed algorithm that allows for that much to, and it can't be changed because you've got tens of thousands of computers around the world mining it, and you need a 51% agreement on across the board of all of the people mining Bitcoin in order to change the program. So if you wanted to suddenly say, okay, there's, you know what, forget 23 million Bitcoin, we're going to do 56 million Bitcoin. You have to get 51% of the miners to agree to that. And when that happens, it's called a fork. The original Bitcoin will maintain at $23 million. The fork will become Bitcoin Cash like it did before, Bitcoin Gold or Bitcoin Diamond or Bitcoin whatever. And then in the end, everyone's going to discard all those other ones anyways, because Bitcoin is the original.
Yeah, and also it's finite. So there's commerce and regulation. There's exchanges of goods that helps create the Bitcoin market, like selling of Bitcoin miners. Like so that is what holds the value on top of people holding coins, because of the difficulty increasing over time. And that, and you can, again, standard charting. So like,
but basically, if tomorrow everybody just ignored Bitcoin, it would just lose value, right?
no, but that's a ridiculous statement. No one's going
I'm
to
asking.
Theoretically, yeah, but theoretically you could say that about every currency on the planet.
Yeah,
and
nothing
gold,
in
including
society.
gold.
Right.
I mean, you do have hyperinflation, like what happened in Germany. You have hyperinflation, like what's happening in Argentina now. But that just means the currency that is backed by the nation's internal.
Every currency by every nation on planet Earth in the history of mankind has been debased. Whether that's shaving a little bit off of a gold coin, mixing alloys into your gold and your silver. In 1964, we debased our silver. We used to carry 90% silver currency in America. They debased that in 1964 by sandwiching nickel onto copper, and there's your quarter. It's still worth a quarter. It's like, but that used to be 90% silver, and it actually had a value against the $20 note, $20 gold note that you're giving me, right? But now it's nickel and copper. Now it's debased. So every currency on Earth has always been devalued and debased, and Bitcoin is the first one that literally can never be debased. That's the value. Cool. That's why the value is so much more technically intrinsic than even gold.
No, I mean, listen, I get, I don't sneeze at it anymore. I still just, it just boggles my brain that we're all on board with, if we're all on board with like ones and zeros being currency, I'm on board with ones and zeros being currency.
Mike's not the boss of me. To throw Mike off, I'd like to hear a little bit more about what he knows about Tectum. Tectum is, like I said, it's in essence, it is a Bitcoin second layer solution. So you'll be able to trade Bitcoin off chain at essentially zero cost. Also, when you use Tectum, you can take your Bitcoin off chain. It creates its own wallet. So each like Bitcoin's like peculiar in crypto in that each Bitcoin actually has its own address. Like every Bitcoin, and I believe even every Satoshi has its own address. So every Satoshi is non-fungible essentially. And so you can actually take that Bitcoin layered into a wallet. You can actually give that wallet to someone else completely untraceable, right? So like I can hand you a wallet. Nobody knows where that wallet came from, where it's going. And it just sort of goes out into the world. And that wallet itself can be traded person to person to person to person before it's ever uploaded to the Bitcoin blockchain. And what do they call that when they?
Well, that's a form of paper walleting.
It's a form of paper wallet. That's right.
Digitalized.
Yeah, it's a digital. That's a good way of putting it. It's a digitalized paper wallet for Bitcoin that takes it off chain. So I think that's why it's got a good chance of being. And here's the thing, dude. It's at a $300 million market cap right now, and second layer solutions for ETH, even in the bear market, are $10 billion cryptos.
I don't believe.
Even if it gets to and there's like 12 second layer solutions for ETH. So even if it gets to like one of the second layer solutions, that's a freaking huge jump. That's like a 70x from here. If it gets up, I don't even know what second layer solutions we're at in the last bull market, but if this hits like some crazy bull market rate, say it goes to 100 billion, that's like a 700x. So yeah, I just put an ETH to Tectum the other day. So
Rhaegar makes an interesting comment that like I would probably agree with, but at the same time I have to disagree with. Where he says we'll live to see the day where people pull out $100 bill and people laugh for trying to pay with it.
That's fear porn.
Yeah, I understand what he's saying, but there's too many shady dealings that go around where you don't want your transactions being, you know what I mean? Like you don't want to be using your debit card for. You don't want to be using. So until there's a way to do that easily, without like having to like convert stuff over,
major cash transactions are only done by governments and gangsters. There's no one else who does.
Or in the case of Venezuela 10 years ago or the Weimar Republic, major cash transactions were necessary to buy a loaf of bread.
That's not 100% true. I mean, you're talking major cash transactions, but there's things that happen on the side all the time. Like,
dude, this guy's a street vendor in Venezuela.
But like,
he's probably selling eggs for.
So like you go into a place and you're like, hey, listen, if I pay cash, we knock the tax, the sales tax.
I get it. My point is, it's funny because people always think about Weimar Republic. When you needed like 100 million marks to go buy a loaf of bread, and you think that's some ancient history, dude. Venezuela was like 10 years ago.
Right. No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
This happens today. It happens in countries. Will it happen to America? I doubt it.
No.
But
well, I'm just saying, even if
a lot of our stuff we spend our money on, and everybody here knows it, has literally doubled in the last 3 years.
Yeah. Well, even if like the value of our money crashes hard, people will still use paper money because of the fact that you can get away with not letting that government know that you're doing some kind of purchase.
And that's why Bitcoin and all these cryptological services were created, was for the microtransaction. So they want to get someone like you completely comfortable with the idea of holding a wallet outside of the banking system.
Which I'm down with if it was just easier to utilize.
But there's still a middleman that can take from the transaction. So, I mean, ultimately, like I said earlier, trying to get away from the SWIFT system and all those MasterCard, British India mafia dudes. You know, like, so this stuff, that's why I said earlier that most of this crypto was made by cryptological centers for the United States government.
Well, it's like if you know a guy who knows how to fix something, right? Like, say you got a guy who's like, you know, a plumber, right? He's got his own plumbing business.
I've literally paid my plumber in Bitcoin for the last 5 years.
Well, it's probably because but not everybody knows like how to like do the whole. Well, okay, here's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I'm the one that talked him into crypto.
But you got a guy who's a plumber, right? And you know, to the normal, like to my neighbor, he'd show up at the house, he'd give her an estimate, blah blah blah, do a bill, sales tax, the whole nine. She pays for the job gets done. Now, me and him have been buddies since high school. I need something done. I'm like, yo, on Saturday on your day off, can you come over and take care of this problem? Whereas he would have charged her $500, he's going to charge me $200 off the books. Right?
Yeah,
that's why cash will never go away.
Well, yeah, but it's so niche. Cash transactions are so niche and so small.
But that happens all the time, dude.
Yeah, but that's why they create crypto. They want every transaction micro transaction. That's what they want.
Here's just sort of an interesting thing I've been thinking about. It's like Venezuela, like I said, Venezuela is going to be coming up, right? Especially if Milei stays in power, 5 years from now, Venezuela is going to be freaking
Maduro.
Milei is the new guy in Argentina.
He's in Argentina. You said Venezuela.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Argentina.
Yeah, go ahead.
Dude, that's the home of tango and the home of some of the best barbecue on earth. So I wouldn't be completely opposed to like going down there and buying a place. But in, you know, a few years, I might go down there and just find someone who's willing to take crypto, right? Take Bitcoin or whatever crypto I might want to. And it'd be completely like, I shouldn't say it on Twitter.
They have firms that facilitate these transactions.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, how would you go? Like, how would I go about having a private transaction there? Nobody knows anything using any kind of digital currency.
Wallet to wallet. That's the nature of Bitcoin. It is a wallet to wallet transfer.
But they know. Well, no.
Okay, wait. There's not to say that this is how people should get around things, but you can create a wallet, right? And it's 100% anonymous, and no one can ever attach it to you until you attach it to something that doxes your identification, right? So you can have a floating wallet that has no attachment to you or to any known person, and it's 100% anonymous out there in space, right? This is what happened to this dude in I think it was Florida. He was a guy that stole a bunch of money from not Mount Gox, Silk Road, right? And he stole like $60 million in Bitcoin because he found a glitch, and he just kept withdrawing Bitcoin from Silk Road, and he had it just hidden on a hard drive in his house for like years and years, and he had other access to crypto and all this other stuff, so he's like just stupid freaking rich, had all this money. He actually called the police one time because somebody who knew he had all this money broke into his house and stole $400,000 worth of cash, and he called the cops because someone stole all this cash from him. And then the cops came in, they were helping him out and blah blah blah, and then the cops kind of told the feds what was going on, and the feds discovered that the Bitcoin he was like, somehow or another, he revealed that the Bitcoin he was using was from that Silk Road theft, right? And so they did this whole sting operation on this guy and got him like to sit down, show these guys, because he totally thought the cops were helping him with his investigation, but really the feds were investigating him. And so what the feds did was they got him to sit down, open his account because you need to have a seed phrase or you have to have a password in order to get into your account, right? And if you don't, then the feds can never touch you. But they got him to open his laptop, open his account, and then two of the other feds like pretended to get in a fight in the kitchen, which drew his attention away from his laptop. The other fed grabbed his laptop, got into his account while it was there, and then found out, tracked his Bitcoin so that they knew that he had access to that.
Wonderful cover story. Wonderful cover story.
For what? There's a whole documentary on this. You can watch it.
Of course they would make a documentary.
Really funny. It's really funny because he's just like, because there's this conversely, there's this dude sitting in a German jail right now who stole like $60 million worth of Bitcoin, and he just told the cops to piss off, and they can't access his Bitcoin because he won't.
I think it was a federal operation.
Right.
And
but
because you have both sides of the story, dude. You think everything is a conspiracy, Jay?
He does.
You believe every story that is told to you.
But but to use it like Mike, right? Like say I wanted to again pay you for something, and I'm not even saying it was illegal, but like I just wanted to, without like anybody knowing, right? Like if I actually sent you the Bitcoin, wouldn't that put a trace on it somehow?
Yeah.
Like again,
for lack of a better term.
Well, again, if you're sending it to a wallet that has no banking, no real world links to you.
If you bought a laptop from a pawn shop and you downloaded the Bitcoin wallet and you had a hoodie on and you didn't have ID and you created a new wallet, you could get money transferred to that wallet and not be personally known. But it's not about that. It's about making the microtransaction.
It's really not.
So they'll make the microtransaction from your exchange.
But do you see the effort? Like when you just said I have to download this, do that, boom, boom, boom. Whereas I can literally just walk into the pawn shop with cash in my hand.
And when Mike goes to transfer it to cash, let's say for example, there'll be another microtransaction. So they'll get
that's the thing. It's like,
off of the both.
Look, I've got a Coinbase account and I make microtransactions. I'll buy stuff out from the store with my freaking Coinbase Visa card, right? It's like not that hard to use your crypto. But if you're talking about wanting to do stuff off the books and just off the record, then you have to maintain something that's never directly linked to you. It's kind of like
once I use it, wouldn't that be linking it somehow?
Only what you're using it for links it to you. Like if you link it to an off ramp where you're like this guy that got caught before, he actually linked that wallet to an exchange, and the exchange had KYC, which is know your customer. So because that wallet linked to an exchange and you did a transaction across the exchange, they knew his identity. Right?
Okay. Geek Avengers got a good way to put it so that because we're all comic book nerds here. Would you be able to, if you were Bruce Wayne and you were going to pay cash for your Batmobile, could you do the same thing with Bitcoin without people finding out that Bruce Wayne is Batman?
Yeah, if you make it
we're getting because cars have to be registered and real world stuff has to, like a house has to have a real world person. You're getting into areas of things you'd have to do that are illegal in order to maintain anonymity.
Anthony, Bitcoin and these cryptological services were created to make money off microtransactions. Nothing more, nothing less. You can make all these arguments about why Bitcoin was created, but there's a system that takes from the top. So when you mine,
that's fine. That's not what I'm asking. What I'm asking is, how do you keep an anonymous transaction?
It's trying to be anonymous. That's like what do you call it? A facility. It's not.
So no. So I'm not asking if it's a
it is
lie. What I'm saying is, yeah. So the
I get what you're saying. I'm just saying it is possible, and if you wanted to do that, you would have to maintain an off-grid wallet that never led back to any of your real world assets.
Like you would steal a laptop, you would create a wallet.
You don't have to steal a laptop. Jesus.
Well, what I'm saying is to not have anything come back to you.
Like,
If you're trying to be a devious individual,
I have like this old.
It's not even about being
right?
devious. It's just like, why does somebody out there have to know that I'm giving you?
No one knows.
You're hard up for cash, and I want to give, and I want to lend you money, but you don't want your wife to find out, or
No
you
one
know,
finds
do you know what I'm trying to say?
Just look. You can just go go to Book Off or go to some used place, buy an old phone, right? And then you download a wallet to that phone completely anonymously. You only turn the phone on when you want to transfer stuff. You don't get service on the phone. You just use it through Wi-Fi, right? So you don't have anything. There's nothing actually connecting you to it. But really, it'd be like a safe where you're just storing money that you can't access, because when you do want to access it, if you want to get it off that account and into like your bank account, you'd have to run loops. You'd have to go through like a Monero exchange. You'd have to go through
So
there are anonymous
over the counter.
exchanges. There are anonymous exchanges. Oh, dude, you could trace over the counter. But you can go through exchanges. You could go through like Tectum, like I was saying, where you could buy a thing through Tectum and then transfer it. Nobody knows where it's going, where it's come from.
So my point is to do something like that, like I said, like
I'm not suggesting this stuff. I'm just saying what you'd have to do.
But what I'm saying, like, so like, even like I said, we're not even talking anything nefarious. What I'm saying is like, my buddy's hard up for cash, doesn't want his wife to know that I just lent him $3,000. So I can just go and literally hand him $3,000 cash, easy, easy peasy, and nobody has to know about it. But to do that, I have to run through hoops using crypto.
No.
I don't know. Does he have his own account, or does his wife hold his crypto?
You can make
account?
the same argument with gold. You can make.
I don't know. You would figure that if we're talking about a system where in the future, because I'm going back to what Rhaegar was saying, where there'll be a time where it'll be all crypto or whatever, and cash will be laughed at. And I'm like, I don't know about that, because cash is just so much easier to use.
Nobody is.
The money will never go away. The exchange of hard currency will never go away.
Nobody freaking 90. I don't know what the percentage is, but almost nobody uses cash these days.
Yeah, but still
unlegitimate. Like, yeah, I'm just going down the street to go to the bank. I'll use my debit card. I mean, to the gas station, I'll use my debit card. I'll go to the supermarket,
the supermarket, the freaking
yeah. But there's times. Trust
me,
everybody uses cash at least once a week for some reason or another.
I don't.
No.
You
see, you're in the.
I never use cash.
So what percentage? You're in the restaurant business. What percentage of your customers use cash?
I will say within the last, let's say, we're in 2024. Probably the last 20 years, it went like this, right? So there are more credit card transactions than there are cash transactions. But
I saw it in cons, dude. In the span, I was doing cons for 6 years, and in the beginning, it was mostly cash.
Yeah.
By the end, it was 20% cash.
But I can say this: in the month of December alone, I mean, and this is probably because there was like a large influx of like a lot of holiday parties, right? So the average, it was skewed because we probably had more parties than we normally would have in your normal like November or October or something like that. But I can say in 1 week, 3 parties paid for like $7,000 to $10,000 parties in cash. Like they walked up and paid.
Mobsters, dude.
They walked up and paid for. Well, I mean, they were businesses. Now, how they got
this money fell off the back of a truck. Don't say where you got.
I mean, it was crisp new $100 bills, so they obviously went to the bank and withdrew it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, but see that's the outlier. I'm talking about general, because in cons I mean, you know how it is. If you're a con, people go to cons with cash. Right? It's like they take money out, they specifically to go to a convention so they can spend their money. And I'm telling you, dude, by the time I was done with cons, and this was towards the
Oh,
beginning
shit.
of where I like 5 years ago, dude, it was 80% credit.
Yeah, I know. And now with
today
the
it's
advent of
probably
like Venmo
way-
and PayPal, it's easy to be like, you're sitting there and I can just PayPal you for a drink.
Cryptocurrency is Venmo and PayPal.
Yeah.
Venmo and
Right.
PayPal, the cryptological system that exchanges.
But that's what
money.
I'm saying, right? Like, but that's straight. Like, that's straight. Okay, now let's go to the nefarious thing. It doesn't matter how many states legalize weed; it's always going to be cheaper on the street, right? And cash is king. I'm sorry, you know what I mean? Like,
Nah, bro. Cash App your drug dealer.
nobody.
yeah,
cashes.
most black market transactions are in cash.
Yeah.
I think we're just like debating common knowledge things.
Right. I'm just saying,
I don't know what the
like,
debate is.
like cash will never go away. Is basically what. And I was just kind of going towards, Ray Gar's
Whether or not
comment.
cash goes away is not up to the people; it's up to the government. Because when
There
the
would have
government
to be a
says,
lot of
when the
regulations.
government says paper currency is no longer legal tender, you're screwed.
American government won't do that.
Yeah. How many
well-
things? How many things in the last couple decades would you have
Let's
said
just like the last 2 years.
Or- that the American government would never do?
But here's the thing: if the American government ever did that, people would just invent their own.
They did.
Currency.
It's called Bitcoin, dude. That's the whole point.
They'll come up with something hard that they could hold in their hand that nobody can trace. They'll come up with something else.
I think there will always be like a 3 to 5 or 6% in every nation for the foreseeable future that always does transactions in physical items. So cash will always be there.
Barter.
Metals will always be there.
Bullets.
Wine, like grains.
At this point, you're just talking about barter.
Hmm?
You're just talking about barter. A barter
It's
system.
all exchange of money is a barter.
Well,
It's an agreement
that's the thing.
between
That's what
two
money is.
individuals.
Money swaps the value of the item in a barter.
What I'm
It's
saying
the
is there's
middleman
always
of
going
a
to be
barter. Money's
for
always
all
been the middleman
eternity.
for bartering.
Right.
There
Yeah. If
will
I don't
always-
have anything to give you, I give you the money. Right. But if I have, like, I'll trade you a song for for your trailer if you do a pinup for my next campaign. Right. That's a barter. I'm giving you a good for and you're giving me a good. But
Yeah,
if I have nothing to,
Adam Smith makes this point in what's the name of his book? It's about money, but he talks about how like in capitalism is like the natural state of being, right? Because like say you're a caveman and it's like you're a hunter, you're hunter gatherers, and it's like but one hunter discovers that he's just really damn good at making arrows that fly faster, they shoot straighter, and
sharper.
and another hunter who's just really good at hunting says, oh well, I'll trade you the rabbits, 6 rabbits for a dozen arrows because I'm
Right.
really good with those arrows that you make. And it's like the whole nature of the capitalist system, of the free market, is that barter system. Money just comes in and replaces how many hours did it take me to make those 6 arrows and how many hours did it take me to hunt those rabbits, and we'll agree that those are worth 12 seashells, and then I'll just trade you 12 seashells next time I need some arrows. Right? It's all natural. This is the natural system. This is why communism is so stupid. It fights completely against the absolute natural state of how we trade value.
Right. No, right. Like money, like
You're
if I don't have something to offer, I offer you something of value to compensate for the fact that I'm not, I need your arrows, but you know what? I broke my leg. I'm not going hunting this week, so I'm just gonna buy your arrows using these seashells.
Yeah.
Because I have no rabbits to give you this week, right?
Right.
So,
And then you
Right.
hold the seashells until the next time you need rabbits, but you don't have any arrows.
right.
It's natural. It's completely natural.
Yeah.
And
But that's why I'm
as
saying.
that natural progression goes, Bitcoin enters the state.
Well, that's why I'm saying, like, but like I said, there'll always be something tangible that can.
Jay, you're
The-
muted in case you didn't know.
Yeah, aside from the microtransactions, like you were like, this is an upgrade to double entry bookkeeping. Like, so now you're able to make double entry bookkeeping immutable. So those things can go all the way to like programming AIs to not be deceiving. So the reward system is a token. You can
Go
relegate-
back to more practical banking applications. 'Cause
yeah,
I know
you
I know what you're
yeah,
saying.
you
but
can
answer the question.
relegate. You can even do it with elections. You can do
Oh, I'm not saying that. Yeah, I like. Listen, I'm not.
doesn't just have a monetary value behind it. The
My
ecosystem that is crypto.
Yeah, what I was just discussing earlier is it's not like pushing against crypto or anything. Like I understand, like it's here. You know my point was that I just don't think hard cash will ever go away, and I still think it holds like
same.
it holds a value. And if the government ever took it away, we would find something else. Like, you know, we're gonna start turning these holiday napkins into currency now, and I'm gonna buy my eighth of weed with 3 of those. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
let me ask you a question. What makes that holiday napkin more intrinsically valuable than a dollar bill, or less intrinsically valuable than a dollar bill?
The value you put behind it.
the belief that it's worth
Yeah.
something.
All right.
Right. So if the government takes cash away, people will find something.
No one's going to do that. No one's doing that.
Somebody said hypothetically, like Mike said hypothetically, if the government ever took it away. And I'm saying hypothetically, if they did, human beings will find something else. You know?
You guys want to see something
might
that's ironically hilarious? You know what holds actual value better than U.S. currency?
What?
Silk.
Monopoly money.
Monopoly money.
A pack of Monopoly money costs more today than it did 10 years ago.
Well, they made all of our money look like Monopoly money.
I know. Did you ever notice that? The coloration on our money
They did it
matches
on
Monopoly
purpose.
money now.
It's funny to them. It's very funny to them.
But yeah, I'm just saying, like, you know, there would be some stumbling, like, you know, the East Coast might be using holiday napkins, but the West Coast might be using like plastic wrap or whatever. But eventually, it would all cohese after like a
It's
few
always
years.
Monaco East. You can trade Bitcoin with Mike, and I'll trade you comics. Like there's.
I'm not talking against. I'm off the crypto thing. I'm not even talking about crypto at this point.
So was I. Exchange of goods for what perceived value of said item.
Right. Because I was just going off of this all came off of a comment Rhaegar made about, you know, people paying with the $100 bill and getting laughed at, and then Mike made the hypothetical comment that government might take away hard cash at one point. So I was just saying, no, that I don't buy that. I think cash will always be around in some form or fashion. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're better off holding Monopoly money.
I mean, maybe.
Look,
Rhaegar says the West
Monopoly
Coast will be
money in 20
communist.
years. I'm telling you, in 20 years, that pack of Monopoly money will be $40.
I bet you if you have Monopoly money that from like when the original game came out, that's probably worth a lot of like actual money.
Oh yeah, let's look that up.
When did Monopoly first come out?
Like the 1800s.
Did it really? Is it that old?
Uh-huh.
When did Monopoly the game come out? No, 1935.
Oh, really? Because I know it's public domain.
It's
Mark
100 years. or
Parker
2000.
Brothers began marketing the game on November 5th, 1935. Cartoonist F.O. Alexander contributed the design. Hold on. Monopoly game. Let's see. Is there something before that?
1902. The earliest known version was the Landlord's game, patented in 1904, existed as early as 1902.
the landlord game. I see that. But no, like said,
Monopoly. Oh yeah,
right.
Can you imagine what that is worth today?
1935 Monopoly. Am I spelling that right? Monopoly game money.
Yeah, 1933 Parker Brothers, they converted it into Monopoly.
Here we go. 1935 original Monopoly money, large supply, $37.49 on eBay.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I wonder how much it was back then.
Vintage 1935 Monopoly game money, replacement piece part, pretend money. $8.50 or best offer. But that doesn't look like it. Oh no, they look like they're in decent condition. Let me see. Let me go to sold.
Wait, how much did Monopoly cost in 1935? Probably like 50 cents.
Well, eggs was just another money grab. There's nothing. They did it with the flu, the Spanish flu. They did it with COVID. Like there's no.
Why can't I find out what was sold and what wasn't? Where's that on eBay nowadays? It used to be you can just look.
Dude, I'm gonna just use ChatGPT.
Used to be when you went to eBay, you could look at what something sold for. I can't find it.
Oh my gosh, what's all this sign-in crap?
I don't think some of this money is from 1935. It looks too new.
Yeah. Where's Twitter? Twitter's grok is faster than freaking ChatGPT. How much did the original Monopoly game cost?
It's probably like $10 to $20.
Yeah, right.
The
That's how much it
original
costs
game
now. $2.
$2 for the original game.
Yep.
Damn.
In today's dollars, that would be the equivalent of around $40. So you would have gotten all your Monopoly money plus everything else for $2 back then. And now a pack of just the money is
20.
Alpha Proto said our conversation got boring.
Okay, well then we'll wrap it up. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. This has been fun arguing with J Dollar about crypto and trying to explain some of this stuff to our good friend Anthony. If it was real money from Monopoly 1935, it would be yellow because of cheap paper, wouldn't it? Then they start using low-cost sulfuric acid processed paper. Way more information than I need to delve into, but I'm going to go hang out with my wife. So thanks everybody for being here. Have a wonderful weekend and enjoy those ETFs coming to you soon. Buy Bitcoin, everyone. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everyone.